Frazier. Down goes Frazier.
It's over the wall. It's a home run for Bucky Beck. Fumble.
Giants have it. Lawrence Taylor struck the ball.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
Hello, boys and girls. We're all alone again today. You know why? My wife walked out on me. Isn't that nice? I'm so glad the bitch is gone.
Are you threatening me?
Draw to Biner. Ernest Biner.
Fumble.
The ball, and Denver has recovered. Oh, my.
Or have they? Let's wait for the official. Don Pilum. There's a war going on under that stack. There it is.
Welcome to the Hard Rocket Sports Studios and another edition of the weekly video.
With the players.
Live direct from hell. Final.
But hey, enough of my yakking. What do you say? Let's boogie.
And that's my cue to start the show. Welcome to another 3-hour edition of the Hard Rocket Sports Show, live from high atop Hard Rocket Sports Studios in beautiful scenic Monroe, New Jersey. We are your weekly 3-hour get-together where we bring you the biggest news from around the worlds of hard rock, heavy metal, of course, the wide world of sports. And guys, welcome to Thursday night, September the 23rd, here in the beautiful year of our Lord 2021. And thanks for tuning in. I know it's a bit of a stormy night out there. We got no local baseball, but we got football on the screen. Texans, Panthers, two surprising teams, I would say, this year up on the screen tonight. It's been an interesting football season so far, and I'm glad you guys are tuning in to us tonight. We're going to break down last Sunday's games, or this past week's game. We'll talk a little about Monday night as well. So thanks for tuning in to Jeff and I, and we'll get Jeff on in a second. Lots to talk about this week, folks. Let's see. Giants and Jets both lose in different manners, so we'll get to that. Yanks and Mets down the stretch. Tyrod Taylor is out. Who starts in his place for the Texans tonight? Interesting, very interesting. Is the 2021 quarterback class overrated? Sorry, my handwriting's a little crazy on that one. That's an interesting conversation. Only 2 games plus into the season. Let's see. The Giants to honor Eli Sunday. Kiss Bio. Iron Maiden breaks a few records, and with some sales. And a big day in NFL history is today. We'll get to that. The NFL news and anything else that pops up in the world of Jeff Nowinski, Tom Florio, and Hard Rocket Sports Show. You guys, I hope you've had a good week. I hope you guys have been tuning in on Sunday mornings. We're only on the Facebook channel, but a new channel. Make sure you subscribe to the Sunday Audible on Facebook, so you can get some updates on the show every Sunday morning. Jeff, John Marhefker, and myself get together. We talk football for about an hour and a half, and we break down the day's games. We give you our best bets, which we haven't done exceptionally well on. But we have some fun. We'll break down some injuries. We'll give you fantasy picks, best bets, players of the week, whatever comes to our measly little minds. So, guys, I'm glad you checked in tonight with us. But make sure you come on back on Sunday mornings for the Sunday Audible, starring the cast of characters. And again, go to the show's Facebook page and make sure you hit the like button. Maybe we get enough likes one day and somebody will actually start paying attention to us. But let's get the show started, guys. Lots to talk about, lots to get on to. It's a crappy night, so I'm hoping you guys are sitting in the house. You're safe, you're warm, you're dry, and you're maybe got the screen on, but you got the volume on your computer, and you're listening to Hard Rocket Sports. So let's get on the other half of the dynamic duo. My friend of 40 years and a hell of a nice guy, maybe just maybe the sexiest guy on his side of the screen, Mr. Jeff Towles. What's up, Hefe?
I'm getting big things coming through here, man.
Big things. Big things. Do you want to share these big things with us now, or are you looking to hang on to them for a while?
I'm thinking, man, because it's so big.
It's big.
So big, yeah.
Okay.
You want me to tell you?
I probably prefer you don't, but I'm sure you're going to anyway, so you might as well just go ahead and do it.
Well, listen, what I do here,
yeah,
on this side at least, is I try to do the right thing and tell the people what's going on in the sporting world. I try not to hide anything. I try to be, let them know.
So you're the bastion of truth and fairness, so to speak.
And the American way.
And
yes.
the American way. Yes, I forgot about the
Yes.
Got it.
So
Okay.
would you like my sources tell me?
You have sources?
Yes.
It's not the one about Joe Douglas about to be fired, right?
No.
Okay.
No, it has nothing at all to do with Mr. Douglas.
What's up, Rooster? Yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
All right. One, the Giants are 0-2 and a horrible team this year.
That's a rumor.
That's one thing.
Okay.
The record says they're 0-2.
Mhm.
Second, says that Daniel Jones here is an overrated quarterback.
Oh my God, here we go.
Okay. Third,
Yeah.
says that Dave Gettleman is on his way out.
Here we go.
Four, it says the Giants' offensive line is in flux as that kid is facing a career-threatening injury. 5, it says that Daniel Jones is not only overrated, but his stats are inflated.
Inflated. Okay.
Overrated and stats inflated.
Go ahead.
Okay.
These
And
all from your sources.
the final tidbit says that within a few weeks, there's going to be massive changes in the Giants front office, namely at general manager.
Are you done?
That is all I have right now. If anything else comes through the wire, I will definitely get it to you.
To all of you who listen to the show regularly, I want to apologize for the obviously blatant lies, conspiracy.
Lies. What? How many games did the Giants win this year?
None.
0-2. Not a lie.
Nobody's being fired.
Not a lie.
Daniel-
Hold on. Wait. Let's address one thing at a time. You're jumping around. The kid, the left guard, did not have a broken leg.
Well, he didn't.
Okay. An injury so gruesome,
Mhm.
they did not even show it as a repeat.
Exactly.
Replay.
Mhm.
Okay. So that's not a lie, right?
Okay.
Okay, Patrick, just sit there. Okay. The
Thank
Jets
you.
0-2,
Thank you,
that's
Patrick.
okay.
Thank you, Patrick. Yeah.
All right.
We'll get to
Dave
the don't
Gettleman,
worry. We'll get
Dave
to-
Gettleman has still not put together a good offensive line.
Mhm.
Barkley is still injured, and they're nursing him along. Guy's averaging 20-something yards a game.
Here we go.
Daniel Jones is your best. This whole team is in flux. They're so bad, I'm not even talking about them anymore. I'm just going to totally ignore them.
I'm going to hold off on the Giants, but I'll say this. Daniel Jones was voted by Pro Football Focus, who is the preeminent football stat tracker, and he was ranked number 6 this week in quarterbacks. He's number 9 overall, right behind, one spot behind the one and only Tom Brady, who we'll get to later on. So Daniel Jones is playing our
He's
asses.
plummeting faster than a stone thrown off a building.
My man played great last week. He would have had almost 200 yards in rushing if had not called back for a blatantly bad call on a holding penalty.
Or if they had an offensive line that could block.
Well, we'll talk. No, he broke a 60-yarder. He was gone. It was a penalty downfield to one of the wide receivers. They said,
Please.
So
I have one thing to combat everything you're saying.
Go ahead.
You ready?
Go ahead. Put your hat on. Yeah. Oh, you want to put your hat on? Maybe if you throw it up in the air, it'll get intercepted like your boy Zach Wilson. I think
Called learning, man. Learning curve.
Learning curve. Four picks is a learning curve. That's a learning curve.
Yep.
That's called bust.
No, it's not called bust. Not
Called
in the
bust.
second game. If that was the case, then Daniel Jones would have been out,
Here we go. Here
taken out and back and shot at
Daniel
MetLife
Jones
Stadium in the parking lot.
Never threw 4 picks in a game. Never threw 4. Never looked so bad that he should probably be.
I know. He just drops the ball wherever he goes. That's all.
I'm just saying. Listen.
I'm just saying he just fumbles.
saying.
He fumbles all over the place.
My boy Daniel Jones is having a good season so far. Not great, but a good season.
He's played 2 games. He's played.
I just
2
said
games.
so far.
And you're the only one that is giving him accolades.
I am not. Pro Football Focus, which is the preeminent.
And what for who?
Pro Football Focus.
Please
Look them up, my friend. Look them up.
Not rag publication.
Just look them up. Everybody uses them. Everybody quotes Pro Football
Patrick,
Focus.
just sit there. Sit there.
Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you.
We're going to get to that. We're going to talk a little about the Yankees in a fight for their lives. The Yankees
You know
have.
who else is fighting for their lives too?
Oh my God! Here we go. Let's talk. You know what? You don't want to bring up Gettleman. You should talk about your own GM, who's the third offensive line he's put together that's crapped out.
Oh, stop.
He's got his. I'll even show you. Hold on. Let me get it out.
No. Go ahead.
Hold on.
What do you got?
Hold on. What does
What
that
is that?
say? What does that say, Jeffrey? Hold on. Let me get that sounded for you.
I can't see it. I can't see it without
It says Jets 2020 draft class keeps calling out sick. So the first
2 or 3 guys are on the injured reserve right now.
and bad, yeah, right. They can't play. And Mims, your number 2 pick, can't get on the field.
That kid's a bad apple. That kid's a bad apple.
I'm just saying it looks really bad.
I'm just saying
really bad for your GM.
I'm just saying too.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Guys, so we got we'll talk about last Sunday's games. We'll go through them all. We'll break down a little bit of Yankees and Mets because the Yankees are in a fight.
Hold on. No, Patrick, I'm not losing credibility. You know why?
Absolutely, Patrick.
I'll tell you why I'm not losing credibility, because I never once ever said the Jets were a team to be reckoned with. Never once.
But here's where you lose your credibility. You never come on the air and say, you know what? Let me break down how bad my team was this week. Let me break down how bad.
I don't have to break down how bad they are.
I'm sure you do.
They do that every week themselves. Okay? I've been coming on this show since they drafted Sam Darnold and told you that team sucks every year. Have I not?
And yet they jettisoned Sam Darnold, and he's 2-0 playing good football. And yet, of course, it's the stink. It's not.
Yes, I know, because after 2 weeks, careers are made and championships are won. Really, this is the typical Giant fan.
The guy couldn't win one game a year.
This is just like a Mets fan.
This is the typical thing. You can't win a game.
It's September, and the Giants have won the Super Bowl already.
I didn't say the Giants win the Super Bowl.
You don't have to. Everything you're saying is saying it.
I call it like it is. I say what I see. I'm the first guy to blast my Giants. I'm the first guy.
You've never blasted them.
I absolutely.
Let me ask you something. Right now, this Sunday, the Giants are going to retire Eli Manning's number.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
If the Giants could
sign
Eli Manning to a 1-year deal with the possibility of a second-year option, would you want that?
Oh, absolutely not. No, absolutely not.
Why not?
Eli hasn't played in 2 years.
Now all of a sudden, but last year you would have taken him.
Not necessarily. No, I
have to go back on that.
I was very, 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 very. I have always been the same way. All I said was, Eli might not be great, but I'll take him over the retreads in the league. When you
wanted him in the worst way.
If the Giants could get a better quarterback for their future, I'm all for it. They drafted one. He's turning into a solid pro right now.
They certainly didn't get a better quarterback than Eli.
Not yet. He's not there yet. Of course not. Eli's won 2 Super Bowls, 2 Super Bowl MVPs.
He was too late. He was lucky.
It was not late. It was solid football. Yes, and Patrick, I'm with you. But I'm not ready to tell you that the kid's a bust. I thought Zach Wilson week 1 had some good showing. This week he was a horror. But a lot of people are a horror when they face Bill Belichick, especially rookie quarterbacks. Bill Belichick feasts on rookie quarterbacks.
Now all of a sudden you're going a little soft on him.
No, I'm telling you, I'm going to give you the honest truth. I'm still not overly impressed.
During the week, last Sunday, I should have screenshotted some of them. His career is over.
Oh yeah.
Interception.
That's the off the mic Tom. The professional Tom will give you the straight thing.
Oh, the professional Tom.
This is professional. I watched the kid play. Now this week he looked nothing like a professional quarterback. The accuracy that he's supposed to be famous for, I don't see it. But again, it's only 2 games in. They'll probably win 1 game this year. I haven't figured out which game that'll be. Maybe the other team won't show up. That'll be an easy win.
They may win 5.
I don't see it yet, but we'll get to the Jets. I want to talk a little baseball. I want to get my dad on. I want to get to. I'll talk about last Saturday night. It was a great game with Auburn and Penn State. Did you happen to watch the Auburn Penn State game?
No, I did not.
Great football game. Good job by
Penn. Because there's so many of them, and I was texting you and you didn't answer me back, so I didn't know what game you were watching.
Oh, really? I don't remember that.
Yeah, when I was telling you how bad Eli
Oh, here we go. Yeah, I probably shut
Daniel
up.
Jones
Shut up
was.
the phone. Yeah, I probably shut up the phone. This week's games, guys, I'll tell you right now. You got some good ones. Let's see. Wisconsin Notre Dame should be a nice game. That's noon on Fox. Obviously I like the Michigan State Nebraska 7:00. Nebraska just missed beating Oklahoma. Oklahoma dropped to the standings, but a good showing by Nebraska. Teams making a little bit of a move. We'll see how far it goes. Georgia Tech, North Carolina, Oregon, Arizona, good football games. Florida, Tennessee is usually a very good football game. And for you Rutgers fans, Michigan, home to Rutgers, up by 20.5. Rutgers is 3-0, and with Greg Schiano at the helm, they're playing much better football right now. So, take a look at that game. That game is, let me see. That game is 3:30 on ABC, so you don't get a lot of prime time. You don't get a lot of Channel 7 games for Rutgers. So all you New Jerseyans and all you Rutgers fans, make sure you check that game out. But the Penn State game was a good game. Good job by Penn State coming out the box. I think they're 3-0 now, and certainly should be ranked higher in the AP polls. I think they have them at 6 or 7. Some of the other polls have them much higher, and I agree with that. I think they're playing as good as anybody. Lots of good.
One bad quarter and these teams drop off the map.
Yeah, listen, again, I say it 100 times. You're going to lose early, but yeah, you're right. Oklahoma won and they dropped 2 spots or 3 spots. So that's just college football.
Dude, it depends on who the other teams beat.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, you could lose to a decent squad, or another good team and not affect your ranking, and then you could beat a bad team. Like again, case in point, Oklahoma beat a semi-bad team in Nebraska, yet they dropped a few places. So it's the college football rankings pop up and down. Eventually someday they'll probably get to the point where it's a full-time standings, instead of polls. But for now, we'll play what's in front of us. And but good job by Penn State last week, and then a decent job by Nebraska. I was impressed that they hung in there with Oklahoma, a team that a lot of people thought would go into the playoffs and have a possibility of winning. But we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. But Jeff, let's start the show off the proper way before we get my dad on. Jeff, how was your week this week?
Long week, man. 12 days straight at work. Thank God that's over.
Oh yeah, your boss was out for a while, right?
Yeah, he was on vacation.
So that's good and it's bad. It gives you more hours, but the paycheck looks nicer at the end of the week.
Yeah, it does. Hopefully, nothing happens before it gets here, so that it's mine.
Yeah, that's true.
Usually something will happen. The refrigerator will blow up or whatever. Cool. You know the deal.
Yeah, some big games Sunday coming up. For the weekend. So are you back to a regular weekend now? Or are you back on you're off tomorrow, working back on Sunday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but that's good. So, and Jeff, we haven't talked about it in a while. Anything in the music scene? I haven't seen you posting any band stuff. Any coming up with new things coming out there. I did see you do a little Motown the other day. It sounded nice.
No, nothing right now. Nothing positive. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
I don't know. It may be that time where the pandemic has done in another one. Who the fuck knows?
Very possible. Speaking of done in, our good friends, the Black Sasquatch guys, will be out in the King of Clubs Friday, October 22nd, where along with Evil X, they will be, I think, opening for Raven, a band from my youth. Raven's one of those bands that I don't remember liking, but yet I think I have 4 or 5 of their albums in my collection.
I bet you they were your brothers.
No, I don't think so. I vaguely remember going to the city with you and coming out of it with a couple Raven albums a couple times.
Yeah, I wasn't big on them either.
Yeah, when I go back, but good for the Ted and the boys from Black Sasquatch. Going to be out there on October 22nd. So if you're in the area, let me give you the address if I can find it on my screen here, so you guys can go out and check them out. And make sure again Sunday, come on back. We have Rafael Esparza from joining us this Sunday. I got a better setup this week, so make sure you join Rafael when he pops up to talk a little sports with Jeff and myself and John Marhefker on the Sunday Audible, 9 a.m. right here on. Well, actually now on the it will be on the Sunday Audible Facebook page. You'll find it. So make sure you check us out over there. And it'll probably pop up over here too. So everybody, but make sure you hit the like button on that. We got no baseball tonight, Jeff. So lots of football talk about tonight's game's an interesting one. We'll get to that. Let's get my dad on, and then we'll talk a little bit of that. And we'll talk a little bit about Kiss. I got a little Iron Maiden for you. We got a lot of football to talk about. Very interesting. Let me ask you a quick question. Can you give me a thought on this past weekend's games? Because there was a lot of interesting games.
In NFL?
Yeah.
Well, I don't remember. I did watch just last night the replay of the Cowboys and Chargers game.
Yeah, a game the Cowboys probably should have lost some bad penalty calls, but a good win for the Cowboys on the road. A game I didn't expect them to win.
Yeah, I don't know what that officiating staff was doing. They called everything.
It was
everything.
Yeah, I know that early in the season the NFL likes to call a lot of penalties to kind of set the tone. I know the big one that everybody's talking about is the taunting one, which I like and I dislike. I'm not a big taunting guy, but celebrating or trash talking got to be a little allowed. Jeff, if that's what football's kind of all about. I think there's a difference between taunting and trash talking.
Well, you know what? What is trash talking? Trash talking is taunting.
Well, here's what I consider.
Where is the difference between the two?
I'll tell you what the difference for me is. Again, this can only be for me. You hit a guy, knock him to the ground, you stand over him, and you get in his face. That's, to me, is taunting. Trash talking is I catch a pass, I zip by you, you catch me by the ankles, I get up, and as I'm running past you, I'm talking smack to you. That's trash talking. I know it's a fine line. You're 100% right. There's a fine line to it. But I think there is a line that probably should be allowed. Now, again, how do you pick between? It's a judgment call.
Yeah, it's got to be a judgment call, but I guess you got to see what the situation is. If you scored a touchdown and you're running back to your sidelines with your teammates and you're talking loud about it, I wouldn't put too much into that. But if you're pointing back at the other teams, the other sideline, and you're yelling like, I burned you once, I'm going to do it again. And, that may be trash talk.
Mm-hmm.
But if somebody said something about you, like, Tom, you ain't going to be able to catch the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And then you caught the ball and you scored an 80-yard run and a touchdown and you're flapping your gums at them, that would be maybe be taunting to me, But
yeah.
I don't know. I guess they want to get it in hand. Like, why decipher what is what at the time, where I could just turn around and say, you know what, that's trash talk. Forget it. Give him penalty. That's it. But it was just amazing how many penalties in that game alone.
Oh my God, it was crazy. You're right. Yeah. A couple of bad ones. A couple of bad ones on both sides. But I thought the Chargers. There was a situation late in the game. They were ready to drive. They were driving in, and they called an illegal shift, which was an illegal shift. And then they had a trash talk, or some sort of a 15-yard personal foul penalty. They wound up taking themselves out of field goal range, and I thought it was a bad sequence. And again, I thought a very bad job by the officiating crew this week. But a decent football game. I mean, the early games were bad. I watched the Steelers and Steelers Raiders, and then I watched Jets and Patriots, which the Jet game was boring. The Steeler game wasn't terrible, but they surprising loss. But we'll get to that a little bit in a little bit. I definitely want to get to that. But again, Yankees, Mets, we want to talk about that tonight. Again, the Panthers, Texans, Jeff, two teams probably right now, a little better than probably most of us gave them credit for.
Definitely the Texans a little bit better. I don't think that the Panthers are a better team than people gave them credit for. I just don't think they settled into their place as of yet.
I agree.
See them holding on to what they're doing now. And, as far as Pittsburgh goes, you got to wonder is how much of that is Roethlisberger's fault as he's getting older. They got no run game, so all they got to do is key in on Roethlisberger, it seems, and you can pretty much stop the Steelers. There were some teams that are just playing sloppy. You got to think this is the second time some of these guys have been playing.
Absolutely.
Since the end of last year.
Very possible. Yeah,
Uh,
very true.
You get a guy like Saquon Barkley, who actually probably has only played twice in a year.
Yeah.
So, not only did he get an injury
Mhm.
that he needed surgery to repair, then he had to sit out almost a year.
Yeah, and then
You know-
not get any real work in a game situation like the
Yeah,
preseason would allow.
even when he gets real work, it's it's just Barkley.
Here we go.
He gets his 40 yards a game. He gets 29 yards on one carry, and then
Here we go.
the other 17 carries, he divides the other 11 yards up. What's the big deal?
Patrick, I agree with you. I know that's the key early on. They'll pick on. Seems like this year it's taunting and illegal man downfield, which is really an odd penalty to be emphasizing. To me, what's that?
Oh, go ahead, because I want to ask a question about that.
Go ahead, jump in.
There was a play. The San Diego Chargers got called for illegal man downfield, and it looked as though that the guy was maybe 2 yards over the line of scrimmage or whatever the case was, and they called illegal man downfield. What kind of impact did he have on the play if the play is 10, 15 yards plus away from where he was actually standing on at the moment? It's
I
like,
agree with
are you
you.
kidding me?
I would agree with that. I think I don't know if in the moment, maybe Patrick can answer this, is Patrick, when a play like that happens, let's say the guy's 2 yards downfield, like Jeff said. Let's overdo it. Let's say he's 5 yards downfield. Yet the play was a bomb, was a fly down the field, was an 85-yard touchdown pass. At what point as a referee do you put the flag back in the pocket because the foul did not constitute any sort of an effect on the play? You know what I'm saying, Jeff?
I understand exactly what you're saying. I want to add something to that. Let's say that the play was called on the left side of the field, but yet the guy that's illegally downfield is the right guard. You know what I mean? Like the complete opposite side of the field. And there's no way he's getting involved in the play to run across the field and down. It just they should change that to within reason.
Well, I think that the question becomes at that point, when do you emphasize? You're supposed to call a penalty as a penalty. Putting the flag in your pocket.
Yeah, I know.
I agree with you. I understand your point. If something's happening on one side of the field that has no consequence to the play, the guy's just, maybe I don't know, something that has no consequence to the play. How do you differentiate that between something that affects the play? So it's,
when I could see that maybe being called. Let's just come up with a stupid scenario.
Patrick answered you, by the way.
Yeah, this is true, but let's just say that you wanted to make some kind of trick play.
Yeah.
So you put your fastest wide receiver on the line of scrimmage, okay? And you tell your other guys, do run some mid routes 10, 15 yards away, but yet you tell this guy to fucking burn right down the line of scrimmage. But and then you get him involved in a play like that. Maybe then I could see them calling something like that you use a position to your advantage, even though that's what the whole game is about.
Right.
But in that certain situation, a blatant, use to help you out. Then I could see that maybe. But, this one, like Patrick saying, thank God somebody has the sense of mind. The play happened 15 yards over that way. And this guy has no impact on what happened over there just now. I'm not going to call that.
Yep. Well, let's get back to him. Let's get my dad on. He's been hanging a while. I want to get him on the air and see what he's got this week. And he's on every week with us. What's up, Pop?
What's up, guys? I'm listening to your conversation, and I agree with a lot of what you're saying. If you watch the Lions, when they snap that ball, it's virtually not impossible to be a man upfield, even if you're a yard up, because you're blocking.
Mm-hmm.
But what are you doing? You're pushing this guy back. So it's a call that's. I mean, I don't see the scope of it.
Yeah,
I really don't.
the relevance of it.
Call it.
Yeah, the relevance of it is I understand to a certain extent. You don't want guys blocking downfield, but I think to Jeff's point, an offensive lineman who happens to just be standing a couple yards downfield, maybe made a block, maybe he was just getting up from a block, maybe whatever, and a play happens way downfield or way off, way away from him. How does that impact it? So I think Jeff's got a good point, but Patrick, I understand Patrick's point. They get graded if they miss calls or if they make bad calls. and it affects the playoffs and the Super Bowl. So I get it.
Well, it's a judgment call, though.
Sure.
How can you?
Well, I think most plays are a judgment call.
Like, right now, if a guy's standing, you can play devil's advocate. If a guy's on the right side and one guy's on the left, the guy on the left side is holding and he's throwing the ball to the right. What impact did that have? Then you can say, well, maybe if the guy on the left didn't get held, he would have threw the ball to him. So there's like a judgment.
I agree. I agree. I think that's why I think in the end they err on the side of calling anything that they see, because how do you know whether it impacts the thing or not, Jeff?
I understand the whole point of it. It's a penalty. It's a penalty. I can understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But, like you said, sometimes a judgment call is the right call.
Mm-hmm.
A pass interference on one side, but meanwhile, the quarterback is looking to his left the whole entire time and throws the ball to the left. But the guy on the right is getting mugged.
Mm-hmm.
But the quarterback never once looked back over that way. So I understand it's a pass interference, but did it really interfere with the pass that was being thrown if the quarterback didn't even look at him?
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. I guess what's the sense of calling a penalty if you're going to have so many, is it this, is it that, and possibilities? I guess it has to be cut and dry. You interfered, you would pass the line of scrimmage, whatever the case is, penalty,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What could you do?
Yeah, guys, make sure again on Friday, October 22nd, you head down to the King of Clubs, and then you join our good friends Black Sasquatch along with Evil X, and as they open up for Raven in their Metal City tour. I don't have much else information, at least it's not on my screen, but guys, make sure you get down and you check out our good friends from Black Sasquatch. They got a new single out, got to listen to it. Great job by the boys, and maybe I'll get some permission to play it on the air one of these days. And I think those guys are going to come on right before the show, maybe about the 15th, to do a little something. So looking forward to either Ted or Bub or one of the boys joining in. So Pop, what else is on your mind this week?
Yeah, nothing much. I'm enjoying the baseball. We're getting down to the final game.
Mm-hmm.
And but we had this conversation during the week, and if they don't get rid of Sanchez, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I can't. I just can't. I mean, Posada, when he first came up, was, he was a decent hitter, and he wasn't really a bad catcher, but he got better as the years went on. But this guy is, oh my God, I can't understand why they're so in love with him. Do they really? I mean, how much more longer are they going to wait for him to really crap out? I mean, he's made more mistakes than God.
Yeah, you know what? I think this year it was a sense of they were trying to not spend a lot of money on a catcher. He was a relatively cheap alternative, and I think they were still trying to hold out hope that he would turn it around. I would almost guarantee you he will not be back next year, but I will tell you that I'll have a hard time watching next year if he's back, because he is blatantly bad and a guy who just doesn't want to get better at his craft, Pop. So I'm with you. I'm going to have a hard time watching the Yankees in the future. But for now, we're stuck with him. He's going to play. And 9 games left. It's a playoff atmosphere. Every game's the playoffs. You got to win you got to go out there and almost win every day, Dad.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. And I gotta side with Jeff. I like the Jets. I think they have a nucleus. It's a shame that they threw this kid in right away. Generally, as a rule, you keep him out for at least a year and have somebody work with him, playing the game, and let him. He was thrown right in. And as everybody knows, there's a big difference between college and the pros.
Yeah.
I mean, you get guys 340 pounds that run like a deer.
I mean, listen, college is different. You got 4, 5, 6 guys on a college team who are going to be pros who make a difference, and you're out there playing against the pros every week, and there's 11 guys out there who make a difference. So it's a big difference.
I think he's going to be good at quarterback. I think he's going to really be. I think this is the one they got, and I think they got the right one. And
well, it remains to be seen. I'll tell you this, and in all honesty, I thought the first week he did a nice job. When I say did a nice job, I thought he represented himself pretty well. He didn't play great, but I thought he represented himself. This week, I thought he was lost. I still don't. His big attribute is supposed to be his ability to get out of the pocket, but is also to throw the ball accurately, and he has not shown that at all in 2 games. In 2 games, he's had 5 picks.
I don't know how anybody could. Yeah, I don't know how anybody could give him any kind of. He's supposed to have something in the pros because, again, like you said before, there's a big difference between.
I got it, Dad. But when I'm watching guys like Justin Herbert last year was a rookie, came out and showed himself well. I watched Mac Jones play Sunday, not great, but he was efficient. 22 of 30, 200 something yards. I'm not knocking the kid to the point where I say he's got to go. I'm just saying is you can have a transition period and still be somewhat accountable as a football player. And what I've seen so far is not good. I this week was terrible. I thought he was.
I think he's going to wind up being a good.
All right, well,
and I think he's going to be. I'm I'm a Giant fan.
Yeah.
But I think this kid is going to be number 1 quarterback in this.
It might be possible.
He has all the credentials to do it, and I hope. I like to see both teams get up there.
Yeah.
It's like the garbage.
Yeah, listen.
Right, let you guys go.
Thanks, Pops.
Enjoy your rest of your show.
All right.
And talk to you over the weekend.
Yeah, I'll talk to you over the weekend, Pops. Thanks for calling.
Oh, as a matter of fact, I'll see you tomorrow night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I guess my wife didn't let me know. I'm seeing you tomorrow night.
Yeah,
I guess not, but okay, yeah, that's fine. I'll see you tomorrow night.
All right, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, Pops.
See you later, Mr. Florio.
That's my dad. He checks in every week with us, and it's always great to have him. What's your thought on that, Jeff? With regards to are you confident at this point that this Zach Wilson is your guy? I mean, have you seen?
He can't say nothing after 2 games either way.
Yeah.
If he had 2 great games, you can't turn around and say anoint him the savior and everything else, and then he has 2 bad games and. That's it. I look, Frank Catalano just popped up and he brought about Teddy Bridgewater. Before the season started, they were saying that the race came down between Bridgewater and Drew Lock because there was nobody else for them to try. Now, all of a sudden, Bridgewater is playing like an all-pro.
Yep.
You don't know. This kid is not going to go out there and throw 5 interceptions every week.
I wouldn't think so.
No, of course not. You just have to hope that he develops. I think that he's trying too hard, and that was part of the reason why he threw so many interceptions. There was one where he should have just never thrown the ball.
Yes.
And I think he's trying to show people that, I could take that chance and I could be efficient with it. But didn't work out,
Yeah. No. Yeah, no, I thought Salah's quote after the game was a good one. He said, I have to just teach him to be boring. And I think it was pretty apropos to just say, hey, if there's hey, Diego, what's up, Diego? What's up, Will? What's up, Frank? I thought Salah's quote to say, be boring in the sense that if it ain't there, just throw it to the back or take off and run or throw it away. Be boring and live to fight the next play.
But did you know something? The one thing that gets me, right? You'll hear them talk like this. This isn't the first time or the last time that we'll ever talk like this about any quarterback on any team.
Uh-huh.
But what the fuck has he been doing for the last, say, 6 to 10 years football-wise? From when he was playing Pop Warner football in the park someplace, did they tell him, force it in there? You know what I mean? And then he went to high school and he played in high school. Did they tell him, that's the guy you're throwing to? Don't take your eyes off him, throw the ball at him. Then when you go to college, you did something in college because you were drafted 2nd or 3rd or whatever it is that he was drafted 2nd. So you were drafted 2nd in the NFL draft. Okay, that definitely has to speak somewhat for your pedigree. You should be that much better than everybody else coming in, so that that way by the end of your first year, you're this much better than everybody else because you already have somewhat of a learning curve. But
Well, sometimes it takes longer to get it, Jeff. I mean, listen, we can look around the league a little bit. I mean, Sam Darnold, maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's clicked for him this year. Who knows? He's got a couple of weapons. Maybe Sam Darnold just learned how to play quarterback year 4, year 5, whatever it is. You can point to Ryan Tannehill. Tannehill took years before he wound up in Tennessee, and now people have him in the top 10 as quarterbacks around the league. I'm not a huge Tannehill fan, but
people have these guys, Tom, in the top 10 because you know why? You don't have a top 10 like you did 5 years ago, 3 years ago.
I'll agree with that.
Manning's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Brady's getting older. Roethlisberger's getting older. Rivers isn't there. Breeze isn't there.
Mm-hmm.
Peyton's not there. There's a lot more that aren't there anymore.
I agree.
Let me ask you right now, real quick, just real quick off the top of your head. Okay, I'm going to give you 5 seconds to do it. Give me a top 3 quarterbacks in the league right now.
Brady. I still got to say Aaron Rodgers and probably Russell Wilson. I'm not the biggest fan, but I would go Russell Wilson.
Okay, so you didn't even name Mahomes.
Nope, I didn't name Mahomes.
Okay, so and
yeah, there you go.
It took you longer than 5 seconds to come up with 3 names. Meanwhile, 5 years ago, you would have just said Breeze, Brady, Manning. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Roethlisberger,
Roethlisberger, however you wanted to go. Yeah. Now, I don't know. Would you even consider that a solid top 3?
Well, again, I think the tough part is once you get out of the 3, 4, 5, then it gets to be tough. So let's just say it's no particular order. You're right, Dig. I got you. I just it didn't pop in my head. You gave it to me quick, but let's say it's Mahomes and Brady. Rodgers is still there. Let's say Russell Wilson's there. There's 4. Now you start to think after that, who's the next 2 or 3 guys? Who's that guy that you would put up there every week? It's not Kirk Cousins. Is it Derek Carr? Can we put Derek Carr on top 5, 6, 7?
Look at it this way, okay? Mm-hmm. Think of this.
Yeah.
AFC East, you got 4 relatively new quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
2 brand new, 1 semi-new, 1 that's, he's been there 3-4 years now.
Yeah, there's another guy. Josh Allen should be in the top, top 5.
But he didn't come out on your page.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
And if you think about it, how many new quarterbacks are in this league fighting to make their stance, fighting to get into position?
Bunch of them right now.
You have Deshaun Watson, who's probably never going to throw another pass this year.
No, definitely not this year.
And he's not going to play. He's better than some of these guys that are out there.
Oh, sure, absolutely. No, listen, these guys, Andy Dalton started this season out. Andy Dalton's a backup on most teams. Now we'll see what Justin Fields has. Again, Sam Darnold has looked decent in the first couple of games. Jameis Winston had a little Jekyll and Hyde so far this year. So, there's Kyler Murray's no slouch. I'm not a huge Kyler Murray guy. I know Jeff's probably more higher up on Kyler Murray than I am. I'm not a huge Kyler Murray guy. I'm not yet, at least. He's got a ways to go for me.
I mean, listen, what do you want this guy to punch his ticket to the Hall of Fame right now? If you were to take a top 10, he's definitely within the top 10.
Probably, but is it because it's a lack of other competition? Is it but
Nah, I don't think it's because of a lack of competition. I just think it's because he belongs in the top 10.
Frankie, Stafford to me, let me know the next time Stafford wins a big game. Then I will talk to you about it. But the guy walked around with the best receiver of our of this era, and Calvin Johnson did nothing. I know the team around him wasn't great, but until he wins big games, I can't put him in that. I can't put him in that category yet. No chance for me. I'm not a believer in Dak Prescott. I'm not a believer in some of these other guys. But it's going to be interesting. Got some guys getting their feet wet, and we'll see how that plays. Let's see. Let's talk a little baseball before we get over. I want to just I want to finish up that Sanchez Yankee thing. So Yankees 9 games. Destiny's in their hands. You got 3 with the Red Sox. You get 3 with Toronto, and then 3 with Tampa. Yankees obviously have the tougher road here. Boston gets obviously the Yankees. Then they get, let's see, Red Sox, the Yankees, Orioles, Nationals. The Jays have the Twins, Yankees, and Orioles. So much easier path to the playoffs for those teams than the Yankees. But you know what? You're the Yankees. You have a $200-something million payroll. Let's win some games. Probably got to go at a minimum 6-3, probably 7-2 to get in the playoffs if you're the Yankees. And at this point, I'm sorry. I want to see more of a one. Give me one lineup. I want Rizzo playing every night. I want his defense in there. I want Gallo playing. Gardner coming off the bench probably. But I do understand getting him out there, getting some speed in the game. But I wish they'd go back a little bit to that lineup that they had when they were winning 13 games, Jeff. And they were stealing bases and bunting and just making stuff happen, without the home run. So it's going to be an interesting week and a half for the Yankees.
It's all hard to believe that baseball season's almost over.
Yeah, it's right. It's right in front of us. So, obviously you got the second half of the season with the playoffs kicking in. And I like the Yankees' chances, but Pete's right. You got to win 2 out of 3 in Boston. You got to go up in Toronto, win 2 out of 3. And then, you got to hope that Tampa's, going to kind of host the last game of the last week of the season. And, you go up there and you go down there and sweep them. So we'll see. It's going to be an interesting end of the baseball season. The Mets are done, and the Mets have a big offseason in front of them. To me, there's a lot of questions. Cano, you have a lot of who's going to play second next year. What do you do with McNeil and Davis, Conforto, Syndergaard, the bullpen? There's a lot of questions on the Mets side of the field. I think the only solid areas are shortstop, catcher, first base. You might need all 3 outfield spots at this point. So there's a lot. They're probably going to be getting a new manager. So there's a lot of questions on its side. And DeGrom, you know what? I think DeGrom's the best pitcher of this era, but the guy's got to stay on the field for a full season. He just got.
Why don't they maybe trade some of these things away? Get rid of DeGrom, get some pieces for him.
Jeff, I got to tell you, there's a smart theory to that because you've had him now for a few years, 6 years, 7 years, and you ain't won anything with him. So to me, if you could find a contender to trade him to and get some big pieces back, it ain't dumb, but it'll never happen. The Mets would get ripped by their fans. He's the one reason most people tune into the games. And yeah, Frank, the problem is the guy you should try to hire, Epstein, doesn't want the job. You better hope that Cashman gets fired. Maybe you can hire Cashman, but and you're going to get a new manager. But it's not a dumb idea. I have to be honest with you. At this point, you haven't won with this, with that rotation, but you better get a bunch of good stuff back and not just some bunch of minor leaguers, Jeff.
They got to do something because year after year after year, they do so good to start off the season and then they just seem to falter by May.
Yeah. And I think, there is something to me that there is a bit of something in the DNA of a team. When you're a team that's perennial losers, and not that the Mets are perennial losers, they've had some good teams, but when you get in that rut, it's hard to get out. And even with a change in ownership, I think this Met team probably needs to have a change, a big change. So I don't know. Pete, last year I think he had some stuff. The year before, I think it was, up until then, I think it was okay. I have to go back and look, but
he seems to have a little spot every season where he has a little something happen.
Yeah, and again, listen, the guy's 30-something years old. When he missed the season, nobody knows why. Nobody really knows what happened and why he's out. And there's been some rumors. I heard it on a couple of shows where they say that when he doesn't feel like he's 100%, he doesn't want to pitch. And while that's admirable, and I guess most people would want that to be, I would tell you that any major league player who's playing into August and September is never going to be 100%. So we'll see how that plays out. But it's not a dumb thing, Jeff, to think that maybe the trading of a DeGrom, bringing back something big for him. I'm going to take a look at his stats. Let's see if maybe Dig's right. Maybe DeGrom's been more healthy than I thought. Let me see how many starts a year he's got. So let's see. 22, 30, 24, 31, 32. All right, so last year only 12, but that was a short season, and 15 this year. Other than that, Pete, you're right. 32, 31, 24. Not as terrible as I thought. So I'm going to give you the nod on that one. That I was a little off. I thought he missed the season before that. I thought he missed a lot of starts.
Well, there was only 60 games, 70 games.
Yeah,
last season?
12 starts in a 60-game season is not horrendous. So that equals out to a lot of starts. So yeah, maybe it's
No,
just.
but if he misses 1 or 2 starts, that's big.
Well, again,
You know?
yeah, sure. Well, last year probably could have got 15 starts maybe out of that, but again, not terrible. And wins and losses don't mean anything anymore to me. They just never hit for the poor guy. I mean, the guy just, no matter what happens, he can't get run production. But again, I hope this year's an aberration then. So I'm a little off on that one. But yes, dump Rojas as manager as a no-brainer. I think that's coming. So Billy Beane's an interesting one. But you know what, Bill? No, Frank, what has he won? I get it. He's a genius. What has he won over there in Oakland? The perennial playoff team that loses in the first round to the Yankees. So I get the point. He's done a job with not spending any money, but he hasn't won anything. There's no hardware in the case. So you got to, if to me the guy is, they're going to go shower the money and go get Epstein. He turned around the Red Sox. He turned around the Cubs. Man, if you bring him here and he turns around the Mets, forget it. There's nothing left. So, but no, Billy Beane.
I don't know, Tom. I don't know. Yeah, the Mets seem to be a special case.
Yeah, I agree.
Every year it's the same thing. This is their year. They're doing better, and then it never happens.
That's my point, though, Jeff. If you come in here and you can actually turn this around and get them to win something, boy, they'd be carrying you through the streets. You wouldn't buy a dinner. You wouldn't ever buy a dinner. But Billy Beane, again, they made a movie about the guy, terrific, but there's no hardware in the case. So I want to see a little hardware in the case before. But again, anybody's got to be better than what they got right now. So I'd ask you, if you're a Met fan, you take anything.
Just because there's hardware in the case doesn't mean it's necessarily earned, Tom. Just want to throw that out.
Yeah, I know you want to throw that out there, but I would absolutely disagree with that. But again, it's an interesting offseason for the Mets. I think more so than the Yankees, but even the Yankees have a little bit of an interesting offseason. But the Yankees, I want to get through the rest of the season, and then we'll talk about the offseason. For the Mets, though, Cano, I think they got to eat the contract. You can't bring him back and let him play second. Now, if there's a DH next year, could you keep him on the team? I don't know. He only seems to hit when he's on steroids, so I can't see bringing him back. But there's a lot second, third, the entire outfield, your pitching staff. Do you give Syndergaard another contract? He hasn't pitched in 2 years. Conforto, you off from what you can, but there's a big the Mets need I think a DNA change, and I think this is the year to do it. But you got to go get the right guy to lead the team. So we'll see how that plays out. Of course, this is the Hard Rocket Sports Show Thursday nights. Jeff Tomlinski, Tom Florio, talking to you guys. Hockey season's a couple of weeks away. I can't believe it, Jeff. And probably about a month from basketball. I can't.
Hockey season's October 13th, I believe.
Yeah, it's right around the corner, boy. I'm seeing Ranger stuff in the paper every day, and I'm like, why is that? And then they said the season's 2 weeks and change away or something. I said, wow. So we got a lot. But we're in the middle of football. We got baseball second half, the real season of baseball starting up. And we got plenty of stuff to talk about today. We'll get to some music stuff in a little bit. See, I don't know about Nimmo. I think Nimmo's a good fourth guy. I don't want Nimmo to be my number one center fielder. I'm sorry, Patrick. If I'm the Mets, Nimmo's a guy I want off the bench. You play, 3 times a week, maybe 4 times a week. Spot starts all over the place. But I don't want Nimmo to be my number one center fielder. Sorry, I'm not taking that one. But Jeff, let's run through. You want to do the Jets and Giants, and then we'll run through the league, or you want to run through the league first?
Whatever you want to do, man.
Let's go through Jets and Giants. We'll start with the Giants. We talked about the Jets a little bit. We'll get to the Giants right now. Tough loss last Thursday night. I thought Jones and the offensive line played really well. They didn't run the ball well. One big burst from Saquon, Jeff. And but another disappointing game for the defense, and that's what's bothering me. That's a game that they should have won. The offense put 29 points on against a team, Jeff, that you said was probably the best defense, especially in that division, but maybe in the league, in the Washington football team.
Yeah, but Washington, supposedly their defense hasn't started to really click yet. You know, it's going to take you 3-4 games, I think, before these teams are really firing on all cylinders because of the lack of preseason and the extra game in the regular season. I mean, when do you really start going all out? You want to try to curtail some usage on some of your players. What do you do to keep them rested and keep them sharp? You don't want to wear them out before September ends.
Well, again, it's that they didn't get enough work in the preseason and they used the beginning of the season. So you're right. You're kind of bringing the guys along slowly. A question I have is at this point, are the offenses at an advantage because of the lack of preseason, or is it the defense? To me, it's the defense because defense is a little more. While everything is coordinated, it's a little more one-on-one out there. I think the defenses should be ahead of offenses at this point, and not necessarily the other way around. But do you disagree with that?
No, I definitely agree because no matter whether it's game 1 or game 12 or game 17, it doesn't matter. The defense is always going to react. Okay, the defense is not going to be the one to lead the charge. They always have to react to what the offense does. So, unless they line up right and they know that there's with a blitz they're gonna kill the quarterback, it's kind of hard for a defense to lead the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Another couple games, I think it'll be easier for these defenses to do that. But right now, as it stands, I could see that the offense is going to have the upper hand without a doubt. They know the play. And they have to execute. The defense, they have to react, then execute. So, not saying the offense has it made where they're going to, quarterbacks are going to throw for 500 yards all season long until the defenses are, back up to top shape for themselves. But it's when you know what the play is and how to run it and you've practiced it, it gives you the upper hand without a doubt.
Yeah, I just think that it's easier to play defense. It's a lot of the matchups, corners, defensive line of one-on-one battles and not necessarily a coordinated effort like the offense is, pulling guards, traps, receivers running the right routes, who's in the right depth. I think that takes a little more on timing than the defense. But again, I think a good job by the Giants last week offensively. 29 points. They should win that game. Critiques again. I think that they need to run the ball better. The offensive line could not muster a decent running game. Saquon had a nice burst for 40 yards, had 50-something, I think 50-something or 67 yards rushing for the game. But
I think that's what he has for the season.
No, I think again, what he has for the season, I'm not sure, but he had like 57 in that game, I think.
We're finding it right now, Tommy.
Yeah. So again, I think a nice job by the offensive line in the pass protection mode. I think they did a nice job keeping Daniel Jones upright. Daniel Jones, I think, had a great game. Let's say a very good game.
Barkley has 83 yards on the season.
Correct. Okay. So yeah, and I think it was.
And the long of it is 41.
Correct. Right. I know.
Okay,
yeah.
half.
I know you're
half.
happy. I know you're happy, but that's okay. I think he'll get stronger and better as the season goes on. But again, I like to see that the weapons for the Giants. Kadarius Toney has done nothing so far. Galladay didn't like the game, didn't like the way he played. Too many drops for a guy who wants to be yelling and screaming on the sideline. Shepard's been great. Some of the lesser guys have done a nice job. Caden Smith, Rudolph, they've done a nice job at tight end. So again, not terrible offensively, but the defense has got to step it up. It's
Rudolph and everything. I don't even think he has a what do you call it?
He has catches. I don't think he has no touchdowns yet, but he has a couple catches at least. Yeah, in this game. I'm not sure if the first.
Let's see. He has 4 receptions for 33 yards.
Okay,
most turning up the league.
Again, it's a nice early start. It's okay. I'm okay with it.
Galladay 7 receptions for 102 yards. Man, what is that new guy? Kadarius Toney, 2 receptions for -2 yards.
Yeah, and Shepard's had a good year so far, so not too bad for the Giants. So again, offense has not been their problem. It's been the defense. The defense has not stepped up, And it needs to this week. This is a big week for the Giants. Again, we'll talk about it more on Sunday. But this is, if you can have a must-win in Game 3, this is it. Because
what happens with Leonard Williams? They went out and signed this guy a free agent after trading for him from the Jets, which they traded too much for him. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they're in the middle of getting hoodwinked on this one. No,
I don't know, Jeff. It's again 2 weeks in. I think he's made some nice plays in the run game. He's played really well in the run game, but they have not produced a pass rush in the sense of sacks. I bet she's got a bunch of quarterback pressures, but I want to see the sacks I saw last year. So I'm holding out. We'll see how that goes. I don't think the defense has been good in general. Bradbury took a step back. I don't think the safeties have played exceptionally well. So again, Giants need a big week on defense and a big win this week because you go to Seattle and Dallas after that. You got the Bucs coming up. You got the Chiefs coming up. A lot of big games for the Giants. And but I will tell you this: it's not so far. I will not blame the quarterback, and I'm not going to blame the offensive line. The offensive line played well enough to play well. It's 100% on the D, and this team could be at least 1-1 right now. So
I don't know. Anything I've seen them, they didn't look very sharp. So
again, defensively, I agree with you. Offensively, I've watched every snap of both games, and listen, your quarterback is number 6 in the league. Quarterback as a quarterback. I think he's played. I think he's played well. He's had only one fumble so far this year. He's had 4 turnovers in the last 8 or 9 games. So again, a better stretch, but they need wins. It's time to get some wins. And this Sunday they'll be honoring the legend, the legend himself, Mr. Eli Manning, by not only placing him in the Ring of Honor, they will also be retiring his uniform, which I would agree with.
You don't agree with?
Which I certainly agree with.
Oh, I thought you said you didn't agree.
No, I certainly agree. Listen, I'm not the biggest guy on uniform numbers being retired. There's certain players I think deserve it. You 2 Super Bowls and all that. I put him in there. I don't have a major problem with it. But to me, uniform number being retired needs to be Hall of Famers for the most part. Needs to be guys who are special. So again, I want to be careful when you're retiring a number. I can rattle off 4 or 5 Yankees that I think should never had their numbers retired. But a big win for the Giants this week would be nice to have a good game on Eli Manning Day coming up down the line. They'll be doing the same thing for Michael Strahan, who absolutely is one of the best defensive linemen I ever got to watch. From a pass rushing standpoint and as a run defender, Michael Strahan was an absolute beast as a defensive lineman. So again, big win, big game for the Giants this week. You cannot go 0-3. You cannot lose this game at home on Eli Manning Day, Jeff. It's just it would be a disaster.
I hear you, and I'm pulling for that. You know that.
That at all.
There'd be nothing better than to sit here next Thursday with the Giants at 0-3.
Yeah,
would you be throwing in the towel then?
I'll never throw the towel in because you can never know. Last year, listen, they want to run the second half. It's a 17-game season, but you got a tough stretch coming up, and you need to win. And this team needs to win games. It's like anything else. If repetitiveness, it just breeds that. And if you keep losing. When it gets that tough part of the game, you're just sitting in the back of the head going, we're going to wind up losing this game. And that mentality needs to change. Losing that game, I know you didn't see the end, but, they played well enough. Then they give up a couple of easy drives. They drive down, they score points. They're up by 2, up by 1. And they go out there and the guy misses the kick. You think you win the game. I was hooting and hollering, giving the finger to the other team. And also you see the flag on the ground and the guy over the ball who should never be offsides. And like I said, I've said this on the during the week of the people. I'm not sure he was actually offside, but you don't jump and give the opportunity. And the guy got another shot 5 yards closer and nailed it. And the Giants lost. So you deserve to lose. Tough way to lose. But we get on to this week. But let's move on to the Jets a little bit here. Let's talk about the atrocity of that game. I want to talk about all the quarterbacks, but Let's see, Jeff, his quarterback rating for this week. I did make some notes on it. Okay, 19 of 33, 210 yards, no touchdowns, 4 INTs, and an 8.8 quarterback rating.
It's pretty high.
That's almost as much as,
It's almost a 10.
0.0, Mr. Blutarski. That's how close that is to that. No, again, I'll say this. I think the Jets defense is not bad. I want to see them against a big time quarterback. Maybe even this week going out to
They're gonna get fucking shredded. They're gonna get shredded.
Again, their defense, I don't know what to make of their defense. I mean, their defensive line has been good. The secondary is not good, and I'm not sure about the linebackers, but they've played well as a group. And I'm curious to see them against a good quarterback and a good offense. So far it's been Sam Darnold. This week was Mac Jones, who was very conservative, and they did a nice job in the second half of the first game. And this week's game, I thought they played well most of the game. Other than, did you see the one tackle with a Patriot running back? I meant to download it and get a chance. He ran through 7 different tackles to score a touchdown.
I think I saw that play. That was pretty sick. If it's the one I think I saw it.
Yeah. So to me, I want to see a good showing this week from the defense. Win or lose, they're underdogs. I think like 10 points out in Denver. Again, I'm not big on Denver at this point, but Teddy Bridgewater's played well, and this will be a good showing for the Jets and their defense. So, but other than that, the offensive line has not been good. Not great play from their receiving core. Lots of drops from Corey Davis. The running game's been okay. I love this kid, Michael Carter, Jeff. I don't know if you got to watch him play.
No.
Boy, he runs hard.
No, unfortunately, I haven't been able to watch much. But listen, it is what it is. They don't have to keep that hard of an eye on the Jets offense, man. It's just they're missing some playmakers.
Yeah, again, I think what you want to watch is for the future. Again, I'm not going to judge the kid off 2 games. I don't. I've not been overly impressed, but I haven't gone out there and said, "Wow, this kid's overmatched. He shouldn't even be out there at this point." He's not. He's just trying. I think you said it earlier. I think he's trying too hard.
He definitely is.
So I think that's a big
Definitely
problem.
is.
Yeah,
he's trying to throw passes into positions where he shouldn't be throwing them. And I mean, there was one interception he threw. The receiver was nowhere near the ball.
Yeah.
The defender just like moved over a step and he caught it. It was right there.
Yeah.
I just don't understand the way of thinking.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, listen, I think Lawrence has struggled this year. He has struggled. Mac Jones has been okay. I think Mac Jones is in a good system where they're not completely reliant on him. We'll see what we get out of Justin Fields this week. So again, Trey Lance didn't play this week, only played sparingly in the first game. So, we'll see how this quarterback plays. There is some rumors running around. People are questioning this draft. I mean, you got to be 3 years before you can start labeling any draft class as busts or a great class. I don't think this is a terrible class yet. Remains to be seen how it plays out. But as far as the Jets go, not much to grade the team on so far, Jeff. I mean, very lackluster performances, and I won't give you anything on the quarterback or the coach. I don't know if you come up with anything so far.
I have plenty of stuff in here.
Go ahead.
You know what this is, right?
That is the Jeff book.
Yeah, it's on what? Of what?
I have no idea.
The Giants.
We're back to the Giants? I thought we were talking Jets.
Yeah, we are, but I'm just letting you know that I have plenty of firepower here.
Again, I'm not knocking the team. I'm giving you my honest opinion.
No, I think okay. Honesty will get you more.
But I will tell you this. I am down on your GM, and I'll tell you why. His first real draft class has so far not been overly I could give you the stats. They less than
2 games. It's 2 games.
No. Not talking about this year. I'm talking about last year's draft class. I know it's only 2 years this year, but counting last year, those guys have not made a significant imprint on the team. I also think that you can tell me it's 2, but he was the guy who took them into this first season with an offensive line that, to me, that's on his watch. So, to me, 3 years in, and this offensive line is nowhere near as good as where it needs to be. Yes, just be 0-3 this year. This week.
Give it time, and maybe it'll be 0-3. But you know what? Rome was not built in a day, and
But how long do you go? And okay, you're all over my man Gettleman. It's 4th year. You're all over Gettleman. I got it. And your biggest thing is the offensive line, but your boy's 3 years in, and the offensive line is horrendous still.
yes, but Joe Douglas didn't come in saying he's going to fill up the place with hog mollies and start in the trenches and work his way out from there. Gettleman did. Gettleman did, and he hasn't done anything. And when one of your best offensive linemen sat out last year due to COVID restrictions, and it finally came back to play after a year off, it makes you think what else they got. You didn't do much to upgrade this unit.
Again, I thought they went with the young kids. So far, I know Lemieux's out now for the season. Gates got hurt. He's out for the season. Injuries happen. I'm not going to knock him on that. Guys who came in, he brought in Joe Don Looney. He brought in the other guy from Frisco, I think it was. They both walked out of camp. They couldn't handle the pace of the practices and the physical part of the Giant practices, and that's fine. I think the offensive line's been good. It's not been great. This has been good this year. It needs to run the ball better. I think it'll get there along the way. But offensively, the Giants, there's no problem with the Giants right now. Offensively, they're scoring points. The defense just has not been able to shut anybody down. And yes, Frankie, I like the Broncos this week. I'm not sure on the cover, but I took them in one of my pools. So I got the Broncos beating the Jets and probably by double digits.
Broncos are going to beat the Jets without a doubt. Fucking Teddy Bridgewater is going to fling the ball around. He's going to look like fucking Doug Williams in the fucking Super Bowl. You got to be kidding me.
Well, yeah. Again, you always got to worry about the trap game. You always got to look. You're back home. You're facing an 0-2 team that hasn't done anything. You always got to get a little nervous.
There's no reason to get nervous with the Jets.
So, but we'll see. But again, it's way too early. But that's what we do here. We break down the Jets, the Giants, and we're going to go around the league right now from each of last week's games, and then we're going to talk a little Kiss, a little Iron Maiden, and then close out with a couple of things. And again, remember Sunday mornings 9:00. Before you tune into the other pregame shows, tune into our pregame show where John Marhefka, Jeff Towinski, and myself get together every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. and we talk today's games, best bets. We'll break down fantasy. We'll go through plays of the week and all that good stuff right here on the Sunday Audible show, on the Sunday Audible radio network. And, of course, go to the Sunday Audible Facebook page and give it a click. Give it a click for us.
I'm going to just run and grab something to drink.
Good, Jeff. Go ahead.
I'll be right back.
Let's see. Let me see what else I want to sneak in here while Jeff's running around. If I got anything else. I did the Yankees. I did the Mets. Yeah, I'll talk about tonight's game a little bit with Jeff before we go on. Again, guys, good games this weekend. I'm trying to think the game of the week to me. Michigan Rutgers may be a fun game. I'm not sure. Clemson, North Carolina State, number 10. I'm not seeing. I've got to go through it again, but I'm not seeing some really good games this week. But there's some fun games. Florida, Tennessee should be a fun game. Michigan State, Nebraska should be. Alabama's 45 over Southern Miss. That's a game that you're not going to want to watch. Georgia and Vandy, it's not a bad game. So watch some college football this week. Get ready for the pros and have a lot of fun. A lot of baseball still to play with the last 2 weeks of the season or last week and change of the season. So make sure you guys come back. Big game tonight. Texans, the surprising Houston Texans with Tyrod Taylor, but not Tyrod tonight. Let's see, Houston that I thought would go 0 for the season with all the controversy. That is 1-1. Tyrod is out, and Davis Mills starting at quarterback, a recent draft choice. Interesting that Deshaun's still on the bench and facing a 2-0 Panther team that's very surprising on the Matt Rule. There's some weapons there. Listen, Robbie Anderson and McCaffrey. That's there's some weapons on that team. So we'll see what happens tonight. I think I picked. I think that spread is a little large. I thought. Let me see what the spread for tonight's game is. Let's see what the spread for tonight is. It's 8, which I think is a lot of points in Houston. I think I took Houston, they could lose the game. I just don't think it'll be a blowout. I think it'll be close. I think it's under a touchdown, and we'll see how well Carolina travels. Interesting. Again, Davis Mills starting at quarterback is the key. I think this would have been a 3-point game had Tyrod Taylor been playing. Jeff, what's your thoughts on? So here's a big Thursday night game. Two teams that most people thought would probably be 0-2 each. Carolina's 2-0, and Houston's a very respectable 1-1. Played pretty well so far in their two games. But Tyrod Taylor's out for Houston, and they're going not to the veteran guy on the bench. They're going to Davis Mills, a rookie, making his first appearance. Jeff, what's your thoughts?
Well, I mean, listen, we knew that it was going to be a while before you seen Deshaun Watson. I don't think you're going to see him play again this year. Makes me wonder if his career in the NFL is even if he even has a career at this point.
Yeah, I have to think that short of him getting completely exonerated, he may have played his last game in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't see it.
Yeah,
even if he's found innocent, he's going to go maybe possibly 2 years, because we don't know what's going to happen. It certainly seems as though he's not going to win this year. And let's say that he doesn't play next year. I mean, win this year. He don't play this year, and let's say he doesn't play next year because he's supposed to testify in February.
That's correct.
So you just don't know what's going to happen. I just don't. I don't know. And who's going to want him?
Well, again, listen. I know that the Dolphins want him. They just didn't want to pay the ransom that Houston wanted for him. I know Houston doesn't want to give him away. They don't know what's going to come out of all of this. So
but nobody wants to pay the ransom that Houston wants.
I agree. Nobody wants that. But if you're Houston, you don't want to give him away, and then turns out that he can play next year, and he turns into the star they think he is, and so I get it. Just it's an interesting game tonight. They go to the rookie. They can't go to the veteran guy, the guy who most people thought is a top 5 or 7 or 8 quarterback in the league. So interesting game tonight.
Do you see Texans possibly signing somebody? Like who signs Cam Newton? Does Cam Newton get signed before the end of the year?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think Cam Newton, if he's going to get a call, is going to get a call from a team, a veteran team that wants to have somebody there in case their quarterback goes down. Can I see him winded up? I thought it was going to be Dallas. It doesn't seem like it's going to be. It could be a lot of teams as the season goes. I think teams, once they start separating from the pack, I think somebody with playoff aspirations who wants a little insurance will pick up on Dak. I think he's done nothing to hurt himself. Other than, I'll be honest with you, he does not throw the ball well anymore.
Who? Cam Newton?
Cam Newton does not throw the ball well anymore.
Well, you know what? Right now in this situation with the Texans.
Oh no! Yes, Jeff, that would have been a smart move.
Cam Newton.
Yeah, but again, you also bring in a guy who, the minute you bring him in, it's going to start a quarterback controversy in your locker room, because here's a guy who has a resume, and if your quarterback's struggling, you're going to hear the whispers. Why isn't Cam playing?
Well, listen, depends on the team. Let's just say that the Houston Texans came in and signed him. Yeah. You're going to tell me that Cam Newton is not better than any quarterback on the Texans roster right now, with the exception of Deshaun Watson.
I would agree. Yeah, I would say.
So where would there be a quarterback controversy then? To me, see one there.
I don't know. Again, you also got to remember, a lot of people aside, and I'm one of them. I'm the first one. I've soured on Cam Newton. I never thought he was great to begin with, but after that Super Bowl loss, the way he played, the way he acted, his one chance was to revitalize his image in New England, and I don't think he did. Between not playing well last year, getting sick with COVID, I think twice, if I'm not mistaken, once last year, once this year, and getting cut from that team, I think a lot of people are saying, if Bill Belichick, who's going with a rookie quarterback, and basically has nobody on the bench behind him, cuts this guy. What's he got left? I think that said that cut said a lot to the rest of the league.
Oh, yeah, yes, it did. But there was also the rumblings that he was cut because he didn't get vaccinated.
Yeah, I'm not buying it.
So, well, I don't know what Belichick's position on vaccination is, and if he himself is vaccinated.
Yeah,
But I hear you. But right now, it is something to put some credence into. You don't know if it's true or not, so you hear the rumor, you have to consider it.
Again, I won't dismiss it. I'm not disagreeing with you. I would not dismiss it. I'm just saying I haven't heard enough of anywhere. I've not seen that really, other than a couple of leak stories. So I'll just take it that there was a lot of people in that locker room who wanted Cam to play, and if he was in the locker room and Jones struggled, there would have been a lot of chatter to get him on the field and play him. So I'm gonna take it that that's what he did. We'll see how it plays out, but you're right. I do believe he'll wind up on somebody's roster this year. The one guy that I haven't heard his name all year, and it's been the first year in a while, and I'm happy that I think we're finally past all the where is Colin Kaepernick going to wind up conversation. I think it's finally, Jeff, after 5 years, finally gone away.
There's no reason for it to be up and about because he didn't do anything to help himself out when he had the chance.
Yes.
He sabotaged himself.
I agree.
What more could you do if the opportunity was there and you didn't want to take it? You can't turn around and complain about it now.
I'll agree. And kickoff's about to happen. So guys, buckle up. Panthers and the Texans from Houston. Should be a decent game. I mean, more so than I would have gave this 4 weeks ago when I went through the schedule. Hey, Jeff, let's run through the league a little bit here. Last week's games. I don't know how many you got to see. I got to watch quite a bit of them. But let's just talk in generals. Jeff, the Raiders come – huh?
Can't see you, man.
Oh, sorry. The Raiders go across country last week. Derek Carr had a pretty decent game. Let's see. Carr completed 28 of 37 for 382 yards and 2 touchdowns. In a surprising win over the Steelers. Now, I watched this game, Jeff, and the Steelers' offense was, I would say, non-existent. I'm sure Sunday we're going to hear from our good friend John Marhefker about that. Ben looks old. This week he's nursing a pectoral injury, but an impressive thing so far. 2 big wins for the Raiders, traveling cross country to beat the Steelers this week. Any thoughts on the Steelers and Raiders this week?
I didn't get to see any of it, but listen, Roethlisberger. I think it's bad planning on Pittsburgh's part. Is Roethlisberger's replacement on the roster?
No.
How long are they going to hold on to him? Is it going to be a complete rebuild after this year? Are they going to keep him? Are they going to attempt to keep him? I think there's more questions than answers as far as it goes with Roethlisberger. That maybe it's time to start considering, bringing somebody else along while they got Roethlisberger on the roster.
Well, I think that should have been done 2 years ago. But here's the thing.
It is, because is he capable of giving anybody any kind of lessons at this point in time?
Well, I mean, listen, you can always teach. The question is, can you keep your team competitive while you're teaching? I don't think Ben would have came back this year if he was going to be the backup quarterback, or there was a chance he was going to be the backup quarterback. I think he came back with this is your job. And listen, they haven't gone out there and found anybody. So, yeah, I don't believe their replacements on the roster yet.
Last year, he did go 11-0 at one point in time.
Again, I don't think he was great last year. I thought last year he was basically done. I was very surprised they brought him back. But then again, I said, there's nobody on their roster unless they're going to go out and sign, an Andy Dalton at the time or somebody of that ilk, or draft a quarterback. And I thought if you were going to draft a quarterback, the last couple of years was to do it, let him play with or behind Roethlisberger for a year. The team's still competitive, and then make the change. But they don't have that guy out there. You're 100% right. There's not that guy on the team right now. So, but again,
time will tell. But where do they go? Do they go free agency? Do they go college through the draft?
Jeff, it's a great question. To me, I think they got to go. I think they got to go free agency, because to be honest with you, this team's got a lot of talent right now, and you got to figure they're a mid-round draft choice, and to think that you're going to get a guy and you're going to come in next year and turn your team around, I think by the time a quarterback comes back and gets to that point, your roster needs to be turned over again. So no, if it was me, I would go try to grab somebody in free agency. Who that is, not sure. Maybe it's Deshaun Watson.
Well, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah,
next year.
Yeah, but a good job by the Raiders, John Gruden and his bunch, and a really nice job by Derek Carr. He's got a lot of life in Jeff. Here's a guy who I'm not sure who to make out. Like at this point, I think he's 7-8 years in the league. How do you classify Derek Carr?
A little bit better than middle of the road. I'd say a top 15 quarterback between 10 and 15. He's definitely a top 10.
Yeah, again, I mean, up till now, I would tell you, again, another guy who has not won the big games, not a guy I would want to put on my shoulders. Of course, I had the half man texting me, he's the man. I told you, he's the man. I got.
You have one of those texts.
I think I have it somewhere. Yeah, I think I do have those texts.
Can you look and read it as the half man for us?
Let me see if I can do that for you. Let me see if I did clean up my things this week, so let me see if I kept it. Hold on. Da-da-dee-dee-da. Let's see. Half man. Let's see. This was.
You have him listed as half man in your phone?
No, I do not. Okay, here it is. Do you believe in Carr and the Raiders now? 2 potential playoff teams. 1 on the East Coast, 2 wins. Carr 800 yards. And then I said, no, way too early. But you still believe in the Giants? Question mark. Yeah. So that was my conversation with the half man on Sunday during all of that. Again, Raiders, the Carolina Panthers punted. Davis Mills on the field, almost fell down trying to throw a screen pass. That was very unsuccessful. Let's move on. Rams beating the Colts. Rams now are, 2-0. That is correct. And the Colts, very lackluster team. Indy is now 0-2. Wentz, I believe, is hurt again.
2 sprained ankles.
Yeah. So again, not a great game from Stafford. Let me give you his thing, Jeff. He had a couple late drives which were good. He finished 19 of 30, 278, 2 TDs and 1 interception. Indy tied it on a 35-yard field goal, but quarterback Wentz injured his right ankle on the play before he left and did not return. Carson Wentz is I think he's gonna go down as a bust, Jeff. And not even as good as Goff. Would you agree with that at this point?
He certainly ain't doing very good for himself.
Yeah, I think there's he has not taken his career to the next level. Too many injuries. Certainly not enough big wins. But a good win for the Rams. Again, I'm not knocking it, but I'm not on a Ram bandwagon just yet.
Seconds.
I don't know if you're on the Ram bandwagon yet, Jeff. I am not yet.
I got a little bit more behind the bandwagon because I saw a replay of a play.
Okay.
With Stafford on the Lions.
Okay.
And he ended up getting destroyed. There's people in car accidents that didn't get hit as hard as he did.
Mm-hmm.
And he laid on the fucking turf. His non-throwing shoulder and arm looked like it was broken. It wasn't. But he just laid there and he couldn't move, and they were going to put Dante Culpepper in. So this is a while ago. This goes to show you how this is a while ago.
Right.
And they bring him to the field, to the side of the field, and they're like, he's got to stay out at least one play because it was a team injury. And then they were playing the Cleveland Browns. And then the Cleveland Browns, for whatever reason, took a timeout, which now allowed Stafford to go back into the game.
Mm-hmm.
So he's sitting there and he's like, I can throw. I'm going back in. I can throw. Meanwhile, his left arm is hanging there like it's dead.
Yeah.
And he went back in and he ended up, they won the game in the last second because of his play. And he won the game, and he's definitely a tough guy.
Oh, so I don't think there's any doubt in that.
He's not a big guy either, like Roethlisberger big. He looks like he's kind of slight, almost like Zach Wilson.
Okay, yeah. I just never see the guy win a big game. And, at some point, you got to win a big game.
We got to be in a big game to win.
But that's even more of a reason. If you're in the league 10, 12 years and you're still fumbling to get to a playoff game. Again, I'm sure he's going to get there this year. I think there's no doubt in my mind he'll get there. But when he gets there, he's got to win a big game. So we'll see. But I'm not on the Ram bandwagon yet. I still don't believe in the Rams. Let's see. They got coming up Sunday. The Rams are the Rams. Oh, that was last week's game. Sorry. Green Bay. Big game this week. Tampa at home to Tampa's on the road at the Rams. That should be a good game. 4:00. Your boy Tom Brady against Stafford should be an interesting game. So we'll be checking that game out on Sunday. We'll be breaking that game down for sure. That'll be one of my for sure, Jeff, games of the day.
Okay.
Next up, Panthers. 26-7 wins, 26-7 win over the Saints, Jeff. Interesting. Saints look like world beaters in week 1.
Yeah, really.
And Jameis Winston returns to form. Let me see if I have Jameis Winston's number. I do not have his numbers in front of me.
I don't think he had any interceptions.
Well, I think he had but here's the thing. He
certainly didn't have any touchdown passes.
Let me get that. I think I have that. Let's get that NFL. I want to say, I have it right here. Hold on. Sorry, Jeff. A little discombobulated tonight. Saints. Let me give you the numbers. Why is that game not on my stat sheet? Saints, Broncos. Yeah, of course it's not there. Boy, let me try the other one here. Stats. And 221, Jameis Winston. Player search. Jameis.
Got it right here.
Got it. What was the stats for Sunday?
He was 11 for 22, 111 yards, 2 interceptions, 4 sacks.
And I think one of his touchdowns, I think, was a 50-yard bomb, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I think his touchdown was a 50-yard, or that might have been the week before. Not impressive, Jeff. And, we'll see if is that the return of
Jameis Winston rushed for a touchdown, by the way.
Okay. Well, they lost.
So
I thought they lost 26-7, so that he might not even had a touchdown pass.
They did 26-7, yeah.
Yeah, so he was
pass.
Yeah, so again, I'm obviously not a believer in the Panthers yet, and I thought this was an interesting game. I kind of expected the Saints to come out and smack this team around, and they didn't do it. Jameis Winston kind of returned to what I would expect him to be, going back to his Tampa days. So an interesting game, and the Saints this week. Let's see, Saints, New Orleans is at New England. Should be another tough game for Winston. I'm going to pick Belichick and his team to come out of there with a W this week.
This is definitely a big game. If they lose, the pressure is going to be on Peyton to write this ship up immediately, because for how many years in a row the Saints had a chance when Breeze was there. So you got to see how this works out.
Yep, it is a big game coming up for the Saints. So for Winston, listen, he wasn't the overwhelming choice to be the quarterback. There's another quarterback on the roster that people wanted to play, Taysom Hill. So I think this is a big game. If you're Sean Payton, how much of a short leash does he have? That's a question.
Well, listen, if you think that you have a shot at the wild card, that you could lengthen the leash a little bit, but if you don't think that and you have to win the division, then you got to shorten it even more.
Yep, nope, I agree.
Is Hill the answer? So you pull Winston, is Hill what you're going with?
I didn't think either one of them were the guys, to be honest with you. I thought that was a team that needed to look outside the organization or draft a quarterback to get somebody. I think Taysom Hill is what he is, the Swiss Army knife kind of guy, and Jameis Winston is exactly who he is. 30 touchdowns, 30 interceptions, and is going to come up small in a lot of big places. So we saw that so far this week, and we'll see what this week brings. That last week, we'll see what this week brings. Bills, Jeff, right to ship 35-0, go to Miami. Tua only last 2 series. Big win for the Bills last week.
Yeah, Tua got a rib injury, and the questions got to start coming up even more now about him and what he's going to be doing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And a tough division loss. You can't lose division games, Jeff. But a good bounce back for the Bills, who this week, let's see, the Bills, Buffalo is at home to Washington. So another big game for both teams. Washington coming off the win over the Giants, of course. So Washington and Buffalo dance this week. Browns and the Texans. Baker Mayfield hurt his knee, I think it was. No, his left shoulder. Sorry, and threw a touchdown pass and ran for a TD, and a big win, a big 26-yard touchdown from Nick Chubb, and they bounced back from their opening week loss to KC to beat a surprisingly decent Texans team. Jeff, Browns have to make a run this year. I think this is the year that this team needs to win some big games. I don't consider beating the Texans a big game, but a nice win after their quarterback got hurt.
Yeah, well, listen, Dave, people have been talking about them. They have some of the horses they need. And it's time if they start producing a little bit. If not, people are going to ask, do they have the right people? Do they have the right coaches? Do they have the right personnel on the field?
Mm-hmm.
So they got a lot of questions to answer. They're going to have to start doing something. I would have to say they got to win a round in the playoffs.
Yes.
In order for this to be a successful season.
I agree, and they get a chance to take on. They host Chicago, who will be starting Justin Fields for the first time. So we'll see how that turns out. But we got a few more games to get through, and of course Sunday morning you can check out and get Jeff and myself and John Marhefka's analysis of that game and all the games by tuning into the Sunday Audible every Sunday morning 9 a.m. Broncos Jaguars again. Jaguars, I think, suck. They're probably going to suck again this year.
Yeah.
I'm not too much to talk about. Teddy Bridgewater had a good game. Cortland Sutton had 9 catches for 159 yards, but it is the Jaguars, Jeff. So not much to talk about there.
No. Once again, you did say that you thought that Lawrence was going to be an overrated pick.
Yeah,
he's kind of showing that a little bit. Between the interceptions, he's not what they thought. I mean, I would like to see him have a good game, soon, and give him a little confidence so that his game picks up a little bit.
Yeah, I got his stats. Let's see. So far, Lawrence is this week I think he was 14 of 33, 118 yards, 1 TD, 2 picks, and a 30.7 QBR rating. Again, chicken and the egg, Jeff, is I think Sam Darnold just scored on a rushing touchdown. Sam Darnold's might be the next Ryan Tannehill resurrecting the career, but we'll see. But, Jeff, could this be the case that he's an overrated pick? Or is it the case he doesn't have enough weapons? Maybe he's trying too hard like Zach Wilson is. What's your quick thoughts?
I don't know. It's a lot, man. You just got to take your time and get acclimated into the game. It's a big difference between college and the pros. And I think that's going to be that they're asking a lot of them. And, what can you do?
Well, I mean, listen, and Jaguars are on TV next Thursday night playing the Bengals, 2 of the young stud quarterbacks in the league with Joe Burrow and Trevor Lawrence facing each other. But, Jeff, you're asking a lot of a guy to coming in. Now, he's the number 1 pick overall. He a national championship winner in college. A guy I think maybe lost 1 or 2 games in his whole college career.
Yeah.
But you're asking him to come into a team that was basically the worst team in the league last year and hasn't been much better over the last few years and resurrect them. Are people asking too much?
No, I don't think it's – I mean, listen, you have to understand and know that when you're preparing to go through the draft that you're going to the worst team. Mm-hmm. Unless they drafted the number 1 quarterback last year and they're very happy with him, you're going to a bad team overall. You're not going to be like a linebacker or a defensive lineman that may go a little further into the draft, and you'd be like, all right, these guys, they missed the playoffs on the last day of the season because of a field goal.
Right.
You know, you're talking that you're going to a bad team. That's all there is to it. And, listen, it happens.
Yeah.
But they're going to be looking for him to produce,
Yeah, I agree. Again, I am not a huge fan of Trevor Lawrence. He may turn to be a great quarterback. We shall definitely see. But I came out of it with a couple of question marks out of college, and so far we haven't seen what people were expecting to see, maybe. But we'll see. But let's see. Where were we? 49ers Eagles. Big win for the 49ers. A return to what they're supposed to be. For the Eagles, Jalen Hurts was terrible. Again, 17-11 showing. A good job by the 49ers. Jimmy Garoppolo threw one touchdown, ran for a second. And I think a big thing for that game, Jeff, coming out of that, was Trey Lance never got on the field. So
yeah, he didn't get to play this game.
Yeah, so I know a lot of people out there are questioning Garoppolo. Why play him? Let's get the kid on the field. And I think that sends a big message. Close game, and your stud number 3 pick in the draft, or whatever he was, number 5 pick in the draft, didn't even get on the field for a play. So I think that's an interesting development.
Yeah, number 3 pick.
Yeah, to watch that. We'll watch that as the season goes on.
But you want to know something that's gotta feel good for Garoppolo.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
That this guy didn't get on the field, and I hate when they do that, and they're going to say, "Well, we're going to have them split time on the field," and it's like, are you fucking kidding me?
I agree.
If the guy can't win the job, then why are you going to risk his health and development by putting him on the field to see give everybody a glimpse of what he can do? I think it's stupid.
I would wholeheartedly agree with you, Jeff. I'm not a fan of that. They always say if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have none, and I firmly believe that is the case. I don't believe Trey Lance should see the field at all this year. I think they played him sparingly in the first game, gave a couple plays. Yeah, I think he actually threw the first touchdown of the season for the team the week before. Very short.
I think he was only on the field for 6 plays or something
like that. Yeah. So again, I think the guy's a work in progress. I did not absolutely come out of the draft thinking he was going to be a great quarterback. I watched his highlight film, and I wasn't super impressed. But again, a good win and return to normal for the Eagles. Bears with I think a big win. Andy Dalton goes out and Justin Fields steps in. Let's see, Justin Fields, if I get his stats.
They were not very good.
No, I think he was 6 of, let's see, Zach.
He had 60 yards, if that.
6 of 13, 60-yard passing, a 4.4 QBR rating, 31 yards on 10 attempts, which to me is not a lot of rushing for a young guy in this league. 10 for 31. Again, we'll see this week. Is he ready? Again, the next great Ohio State quarterback will be the first. They just don't turn out to be great pros, and I do not have big plans for Justin Fields. But he gets to start this week over Andy Dalton, Jeff. And at this point,
does he keep the starting gig for the year?
That's what to me, unless he's an absolute disaster, I think at this point you just stick with him.
Oh, they only got Dalton side for 1 year, I believe, right?
Yeah, is Foles still on that team?
Who?
Nick Foles, is he still there?
I do not know.
Yeah, he was there. There was a 3-headed monster for a while.
Yeah, I don't know what they did with him, but maybe they have him as a third stringer, and he's just, I doubt that. But
yeah,
I don't know. You'd have to look at the roster and see.
Yeah. So this week the Bears again are at Cleveland. Tough spot for him. On the road. I think if you were going to do it right, Jeff, you would do it off the bye week or come into a home game, little friendly environment. Go to Cleveland and on the road and start your first game. I think it's going to be a little tough showing for Mr. Justin Fields.
Yeah, I got a feeling you're right there, man. Yeah, Nick Foles is still on the
he's on the Bear roster?
Still on the Bear roster, and I'm surprised that he's not going to play. 6'6", 243 pounds. He's a big dude, man.
Yeah, I think, I think people want to see the kid. I think you have the danger of getting a guy out there before he's ready. If they think he's ready, he's ready. I don't know. I'm a little surprised, that, to be honest with you. Now, I don't know who. I'm sure that all three quarterbacks were not on the active roster last week. So I don't
Probably not.
Yeah. So I think had they been, I think they would have probably gone in with Foles before they sent Justin Fields into a game like that. But I think unless he's a complete disaster, I think you'll see him play the rest of the year.
Listen, it's very well could happen, but Foles, who won the Super Bowl, is third string on that team, and nobody's looking to pick him up. So why would Chicago put him out there? Maybe he's just good to have as an insurance policy, or maybe they're holding on to him to the trade deadline or something. Who the fuck knows?
No, it's a very good points on your end, Jeff. Yeah, no, I won't argue with that. Tough. Again, could he be the guy on your sideline? He's proven that he's done a good job there. So I don't see that as a problem. Let's move on to the game I watched most of, which was a very close game till the fourth quarter. Buccaneers beating the Falcons 48-25. Two late pick sixes for Matt Ryan. Jeff, I gotta tell you, I think Matt Ryan's done. I don't know if you watched any of that game.
No, I didn't see any of it.
Yeah, Matt Ryan is. I'm telling you, they should have made, when they were going to blow it up. They should have blew it up and blew up with Matt Ryan. He could probably help somebody, but he's not leading that team to anything. And I'll just say this:
without Julio Jones, what do you want? You know what I mean?
I mean, he's still got Ridley. He's still got some players on that team, but those two pick sixes were killers. Took a close game and blew it open, but you just got to talk about Brady and Tampa. I mean, God, the guy comes out. I think he threw 5 touchdowns. Brady, I think it's 5.
Yeah,
276, 5 touchdowns. Yeah, I mean, 2 to Gronk, 2 I think went to Evans, and then 1 to Godwin. He's spreading the ball out. They're all having fun. That's going to be a tough team to beat. Now I know that what's his name is out this week, Antonio Brown, who's actually played pretty well.
Well, he's a possibility he could come back in and play as long as he passes 2 COVID tests.
Yeah, but he needs them to be 24 hours apart. So it's running. He's running out of time. He'd have to get one tomorrow and then get one Sunday morning to be able to play.
Unless he's already had one positive. But
correct. You're 100%
I don't
right.
know. I don't really pay attention to what he does. So
yeah, but I'll tell you what, guy for 44 years old, Brady does not look, Jeff, like he lost a freaking step. I mean, he really is just throwing the football well. Listen, he's never moved well in the pocket, so I'm not even going to look at that. But they win, and he is just, to me, he's just the best I've ever watched.
Dude, I got to be honest with you. I keep my fingers crossed every play, every time he steps back.
Yeah,
that like he blows a knee out or he ruptures an Achilles tendon. I hope he's mic'd the day that it happens and we can hear the pop. So I because it's like after a while, it's like, you know what? Just fucking retire. Just stop, retire.
Well, let me ask you this question. I know you hate the guy and all that, but let's look into the future a little bit. 10 years from now, Tom Brady's out of the league a few years. He's getting ready to go into the Hall of Fame. When you look back to his career, can you be partial, and can you look back and say, if he did nothing else, he didn't win another Super Bowl, maybe one or 2 more playoff appearances, and he's gone. How will you judge his career?
Well, how could you not judge his career as successful?
Right.
Ask yourself that question. Justify not saying his career is nothing short of incredible.
Would you call him the best you saw?
Would I call him the best I saw? Definitely not.
Interesting.
Definitely not, unless he puts up the numbers that he needs to put up.
Again, I can't imagine that he's not going to walk out of there with Breeze gone now and Roethlisberger halfway out the door. I can't imagine he's not going to hold just about every record. But
Well,
beyond that,
and he does, then I would have no choice but as to say that he would be the best of all time. Right now, he just has more trophies than anybody else.
but that's a lot. But Jeff, that in itself is the linchpin. That's the mecca. That's what you're looking for. Dan Marino can have all the records he wants. Yeah.
Who's the best catcher in baseball?
Right now or ever?
Oh, forever.
I mean, that I saw is probably Bench. I didn't see a ton of Bench, but I have to say Johnny Bench was the best I ever saw.
Okay, but you're totally discounting Yogi Berra, who had like 10 World Series trophies.
I said straight up that I saw.
Okay, you said straight up that you saw.
Right.
But in 10 years, there's going to be people that never saw Brady. Okay. And you can't turn around and say that he's, well, I didn't see him play, so it's hard to say. But even though he has 7, 8, 9 fucking Super Bowl trophies, whatever it is, countless MVPs and everything, I'm not saying that he's overrated because evidently he's not.
Yeah.
But it's just something about the guy that, it's like.
Well, I get that part.
Can't get him, though. I can't get behind him. I can't.
I get it. And I understand that you don't like the guy. He's in your division. He crushed your team. And a lot of people find him to be an annoying guy. I get all of that. But to me, when you think about this era and how many teams actually won more than 2 Super Bowls in the last 20 years, and this guy's got 7 rings in his pocket, just missed out on 3 other. Think about it. He's in this league 22, 23 years. He's gone to 10 Super Bowls. How many people could you say have gone to 10 Super Bowls? And again, if it's with one team, you say, oh, the team around him. He goes to Tampa and he wins one in his first year. And I think he's on pace to win it again this year. I'd be shocked if they don't.
No.
They're not my pick to win it, but the way they're playing right now. So I think, to me, I don't think the guy's anything left to prove. You could hang up all the numbers you want, but
the NFL season is very, very fickle.
Sure.
We don't know what's going to happen. He may be playing great this week, and then next week, that's it. I hear you. The guy definitely has proven his worth without a doubt. You would be stupid to sit there, no matter what you feel about him, and say, no, he didn't.
Yep.
I just cannot, under any circumstances, sit there and give this man the credit that he's due.
Well, that's why I said,
I don't like Brady.
Could you? I just said, could you get to a point where you're partial enough to give him? There's guys that I don't like, but there's guys like I've never been a Breeze fan. I think Breeze is a jerk off, but I'll give him his credit. I think he's right up there, top 3, 4 of his era. I think the one thing that hurt, I think there's a couple things that hurt Breeze. 1, not another Super Bowl appearance. 2, playing his whole career in a dome. I think hurts his. It shines a little bit of light on that, a bad light on that, and I won't put him any higher than number maybe 3 or 4, and I would probably say 4 of guys I've saw in this era, his era. I know you're a bigger Breeze fan than I am. I know you like the guy, but
And listen, when you say that, then there's only one thing that you can say about Drew Brees compared to Brady, and that's he has 1 Super Bowl trophy.
Yeah.
Okay, he has a lot of records, but he had a defense that wasn't good, gave up a lot of points, was not good. That he didn't have. I don't want to say he didn't have help, but when your team is known for having a bad defense, you can't win every game, 42-35. It's just too much.
I agree, but again, at some point you gotta lace up the bootstraps, pull them tight, and you got to win a couple games. And I'm going to look it up on one of these days. I want to see what his record is outside, especially in the playoffs, outside on the road in the playoffs. I guarantee it's not good. The guy was made for the indoors, and I'm not knocking him. I think he was definitely top 5 of his generation. I just, to me, to only have 1 Super Bowl appearance I take that definitely to take away from what he did.
It has to be. It has to be a takeaway. I mean, listen, not for nothing. If compare Peyton Manning to Tom Brady, and Peyton Manning comes up short. Compare Favre to Brady. Compare Aaron Rodgers to Brady.
I think Aaron Rodgers
Roethlisberger to Brady. If you go in versus trophies,
no
one of them would win.
No, I again, it's not all about trophies. But if you want to be in that conversation, Roethlisberger went to 3, Peyton went to 3. That's where the conversation. Again, I'm not saying you got to have a ton of trophies and hardware in the case, but getting to only one big game like that, to me, is a knock. You got to get there more, Jeff. I'm sorry. There's got to be a second trip, and then you say, all right, the guy did it 2 seasons. 2 seasons.
Of course, and that's why I said that. If you're going to go by trophy wise, you have no choice but to look at it that way. You really have no choice. But you know something? When you think of the company that he's in, Breeze, Favre, Roethlisberger only had 1, right? If I remember one.
He's got 2. He's got 2 trophies. He won twice. Went to the 3 times.
Oh, okay. So Eli only had 2. So when you say that he only had 1, they're only 1 away from what some others have that are noted Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Peyton Manning only had 2 or 3.
He had 3 visits, 2 wins, I think. Yeah.
No, didn't he? He went to he won 1 in Indianapolis.
Yep, but he won 1 in Denver.
1 in Denver, but he went twice.
Right. He had 3 trips, 2 wins.
Oh, okay. I thought it. Oh, yeah. Okay.
He lost to Seattle. Got crushed in Seattle when they played in Jersey that time, and then he won his last year. He won that time going out the door, and then he won the one time in Indy. Listen, it's not the be end all. I'm not just to me though. They take guy like now. I'm not gonna knock Breeze's bad because I don't think Breeze had the best team around him forever. Aaron Rodgers only making 1 trip there and having a bunch of games in the NFC Championship game where he did not play well, last year being one of those games, and having a ton of talent around him, especially offensively, is a little bit of a knock. Listen, at the end of the day, they're both Hall of Famers. They're both going to be well thought of.
But Aaron Rodgers is still playing.
Correct. He can
Rodgers' story is not over.
Agreed. But to this point, to be in the position where you're in a division that's been a cakewalk for years, surrounded by a lot of offensive talent, decent defense, the fact that you've only played in 1 game, I'm telling you, for me, this is where I put it. I want to see the greats go there at least twice, and should probably be more than that in this era. But when I look at Brady and I say, here's a guy in the salary cap era, free agent era, where you're changing rosters over every couple of years, to not only play in 10 but win 7 of them, that's impressive. That's very impressive.
You really can't take it away from him.
No,
I just fucking hate him. Why didn't he play in 11 and win 8?
I get it.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And if he ever hits that number, why didn't he fucking play in 12 and win 9?
I get it.
I
think at this point there's nothing left for the guy to prove. But I would be if he gets another one, and so far so good for Sam Darnold, 9 of 12 for over 100 yards. He's got 1 rushing touchdown, and he's driving in for another.
Listen, I can only hope that Brady, maybe it'll happen even in his last game, which will be even better, so that when he leaves the field, he'll know pain for years and years to come. Hopefully he gets bruscoed and they take the knee out.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's going to happen, but hey, listen,
man.
You never know. Again, I think right now the pressure's off Brady. He left. He won his trophy. If he never wins another one, he's got 7 in his pocket. Left Belichick and won another one. I think the pressure's on Bill, and I can't wait for week 4. I never like to see the season rush through, but Tom Brady going back to Tampa, going back to New England for a week 4 game, I think is one of the games that I'm circling on the calendar that I'm going to be sitting in front of TV to make sure I watch that game. I know you're going to hate that game because you hate both sides of the field, but that's going to be a fun game to watch.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, some of them are tough to watch sometimes, man.
I get it. Listen, whenever I got to watch Cowboys and the Eagles or those kind of games, I cringe because I hate both teams, but I do it for the show. I try to keep up with every game. I watched.
You gotta love America's team, man.
Oh yeah,
America's team, America's owner, America's players.
Yeah. Horseshit.
And the star of America, man.
Let's all right. Let's put football to bed for a little bit. I do want to come back to football to end the show, and a familiar topic, but I want to move on. Talk a little bit about music. Jeff, big Kiss biopic coming out, a real movie. Not like that. Did you ever watch Motley Crue? Did you watch The Dirt? Did you see that at all? Yeah, Motley Crue's The Dirt was very cheesy. You saw Bohemian Rhapsody. I think we both liked the movie. We thought it was I thought it was well done.
Yes.
Again, we both I think had some issues with the storyline and how they played it, but I overall a very good movie, and I thought well done. Kiss is coming out one that should be in the same vein. They have some big time people associated with it. They haven't picked the cast yet, but an interesting one for me. And here's the thing: they're only concentrating on the first 4 years of Kiss's career, which I think is interesting.
Well, how long did it take them before they became a real big band? And they've been around for so long. How could you possibly and accurately fit 40 plus years, almost 50 years of music history into a 2 or 3 hour movie?
Correct. So I thought it was so what they're doing is, I guess they're going to give you a little background on the guys, and then how they met and the struggle they got to, and then they're going to end it with Kiss on at the Cadillac High School, which is in Detroit. That whole Detroit Rock City concert, and I think that's kind of where Kiss took off. So the idea is to get to the point where you see the guys, how they got together, how the band got together, and then got to what was their first big jumping off point. And I think it's an interesting way to do it. And I'm kind of looking forward to it. I know you're not. I'm sure maybe if you're flipping channels one night and it was on, maybe you'd spend a minute or two.
But you know something? You're talking about Gene Simmons here.
Yep.
All right. This could end up being bigger than the Godfather trilogy by the time he's done with it. Because now we're going to do years 5 through 15 because not much happened, and then we're going to wrap it up. You don't know with Gene Simmons.
That's very possible.
It goes over big, and people are like, man, you should have made it a little bit longer. Done.
Yeah, no. See, unlike the Queen one, I don't think you could do a part 2 and really do it justice, because I think you hit all the big things for Queen. The Kiss one, if you ended after 4 years, you're not nearly telling the whole story. Like you haven't even gotten to the point where they're the biggest band in the world. You haven't gotten into where it falls apart, gets back together, comes back. So they could do another movie easy for Kiss if that's where they take it from. So that's it. Now the two things that came out of there with is one, the manager and it's escaping me right now is Doc McGee said, yeah, this 2022, the end of 2000 will be the last show for this band with Gene and Paul, kind of like maybe leaving the thing that Kiss could continue without those guys. And again, we've talked about that. I'm not interested in that. And they also talked about that the last show will be sometime the end of 2022, and the last song is going to be Rock and Roll Night Party Every Day. And I think that's probably the way to go out. That's probably what the last song should be. If I was as a Kiss fan, I don't like the song, but to me,
don't they end their sets with that?
I'm not sure. I'm going to say that is the case. I do agree with that. So that will be the last song. I can only think of maybe one or two other songs that I could say have a chance would be Shouted Out Loud, and the other last song I had it in my head just a minute ago. God help me on this one. There was one other song I thought you could call it a career on, but I don't escaping me right now. But Rock and Roll Night Party Every Day is probably the song that Detroit Rock City. You could theoretically go out on Detroit Rock City because it was their first huge hit, as far as I'm concerned. Again, the movie's going to be based on ending with that particular concert. So I'm looking forward to it. But you're right, Jeff. They could have a couple of series of movies after that.
Of course, it would make sense. How, the Kiss train is not going to stop just because
Yeah.
new members are getting off of it.
Yes, I got you. Yes. I would agree with that. So we'll see. But 2022 will be the last shows. I will be going to whatever the last New York show is, but to the best of my ability, without selling a lung or a kidney, I will definitely be going to that show. I think that's one of those bands I know we basically saw them on the last tour, but I think I would like to see the last show in New York would be special to be at.
Being that the last tour was on the last tour, but the last show they did in New York was pre-COVID, pre-everything.
Yep.
It seems as though it didn't even count.
Yeah, that was right before COVID. I mean, I don't know if COVID was kicking at that point.
No.
Wasn't it all yet?
No.
Okay. So, yeah, that was
the year before.
Was it the year before? Okay. So, yeah. So, again, I'm glad I got to see them. If I don't get to see them again, I'm happy. I've seen Kiss twice in my life, but I will try to see the last one. And, Jeff, let's talk a little bit about Maiden. A lot of people love the new album. I have not fallen in love with it yet. I am dangerously close to not buying. I mean, it's a double album. It's probably $40-something. But I'll tell you this though, Jeff. So Maiden, according to Hits, Iron Maiden album has sold 53,000 copies in the U.S. During September 3rd to 9th tracking period. Total sales from streams and other is 56,000, which means Iron Maiden has sold most of the predominant number it's been sold in vinyl. And I think that's interesting in the sense that people are flocking to buy this double album with 10 songs on it, and songs are 8, 10, 12 minutes each. Do you find that fascinating that people are still buying the album at that cost and so little stream sales?
Yeah, kind of somewhat, yeah. But you know what? It also goes to show you that Iron Maiden's crowd is not what they once was and what it should be. I think they turned a lot of people off with the long songs.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I saw Dickinson interviewed, and he said that it's basically on him and Steve that they're the two members of the band who are so into writing these 10, 12-minute songs. And I got to be honest with you. I can't think of too many 10, 12-minute songs, Jeff, at least that I've ever have, but right now that I want to sit through.
Yeah, you would think that they would want to make it short, and this way maybe they get a lot of people that want to come and watch the band one last time instead of writing these epic 12, 14-minute songs, whatever they are. That's just way too long. I don't like the idea of it.
Yeah, it's very progressive. But here's the thing. When you go to the concerts, and we went that year, and they'll play one or two songs from that album, but they're playing predominantly older stuff because, honestly, I'm not going to a concert and watching them go through 4 songs that are 10 minutes long each. I'm just not doing it. And I can't sit through all these songs. I just don't understand, Jeff. How do you go through your career, have your biggest hits? Most of the main songs, would you say, are probably 4.5 minutes, 5 minutes?
Yeah, of course.
And you write such great tunes, and all of a sudden it's like you're forcing these epic 12-minute songs down our throats because we're Maiden fans. And I think you're right. I think it's turned a lot of people off.
Yeah, I agree. It's Tom. Think of Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner.
Yep.
Okay. When they used to play that years ago, it's like, did you really want to sit and listen to that song?
No, that was the bathroom song.
I don't think I've listened to it more than a handful of times over the years. I can't remember the last time that I listened to it, and much less sat through it and listened to the whole thing. Who wants to hear that? It's too long.
I will tell you, with the CD or the tape, I would listen to the beginning, and then I fast forward toward the end. It has some good galloping parts. It's got some nice rhythm to it, but that center section, I just want to blow my brains out. I can't listen. There's like 6 minutes of that song. I just want to.
Doom, 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 doom.
Yeah,
doom,
yeah. It's just,
doom, doom.
yeah, it's just too much. And
About a dead bird.
yeah, yeah. I mean, again, I understand the pompousness, and that's what I call it. It's just being pompous that Steve and Bruce are. But true Maiden fans are buying stuff no matter what. Most Maiden fans, I saw Lou Toro was loving the album. I saw a bunch of people who said they loved the album, and I go, I can't sit through it. It's just too long. Give me 10, 12 songs, 4.5 minutes each. Beat me to death with that galloping and all of that, and the guitars and the harmonies, and I'm happy.
I agree with you. You ain't gonna tell me. I totally agree with you.
Holy cow!
I just think that it's too much. It's way too much. And with Yannick Gears in there, it's almost like, all right, guys, come on.
Yeah.
Let's stop. It's like having a bunch of kids and feeding them candy and cake before they got to go to bed, and now they're bouncing off the walls. All right, guys, come on, relax.
You're not a Yannick fan. I neither am I. I got to be honest with you. I'm sure he's a great musician and all that, but I would rather see the classic lineup at this point.
Of course.
And playing classic Maiden. I mean, I'm just sorry. I still would rather go to a concert and hear them play Iron Maiden and Hallowed Be Thy Name. To me, Hallowed Be Thy Name is a long song, and that's probably, 7 minutes?
Yeah, but you know what? It's a different kind of song because every once in a while the vocals come through, and it takes a while for it to.
But it's a hard driving song.
It's a hard driving song, but it takes it's not boring. It takes a while to get to the heavy part.
Yeah.
But think of the subject matter of the song too.
Yes. Yeah.
Now I think that has a lot to do with it because it's a vocal driven song.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's big too. Plus, you hear Steve Harris all over it. So
again, it's one of those songs that it's right on the cusp of like, okay, don't go too much longer, but this is a good song. I can hear another verse if you want. It's no problem. But when you get to those 12-minute songs, and when half the album is 12-minute songs, I got no interest. I have not bought it yet. I've listened to a good part of it. I have not bought it yet, and I am on the bubble whether I'm ever going to buy it.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy it.
Yeah, it's just I almost want to say I only want to listen to the early stuff and just go out remembering them in the greatest parts.
It would be nice, man. It would be nice if that was the way it could be, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I guess, but we'll see. I'm sure they'll be coming around soon. I'm sure I'm going to try to go to the concert because I love to see Maiden live, and I'll try to do it again. But again, Hard Rock and Sports, Jeff and Tom here every Thursday night, 7 to 9:30. We go through all the biggest names and biggest topics in sports and music. So we hope you come back each Thursday night. We got some guests coming up. I don't have the list in front of me. I think the next couple of weeks, but I think the boys from Black Sasquatch will be around. I think October 15th. I think we have. I think our former producer showed his creepy little head, and he set up a couple of interviews for us. So I did have a couple of quick conversations with sexy big Nick Marino. I have not seen him or talked to him on the phone in a while, but I have had a couple of text and email conversations. So Nicky has set up a couple of guests for us, and I'll get that info. And again, remember every Sunday morning, 9:00 on the Sunday Audible Facebook page, we'll catch Jeff, myself, and John Marhefka breaking down the big games and best bets in fantasy every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. So make sure you check us out. Jeff, last thing for me this week, it is an anniversary of sorts today. Do you know what anniversary today is? Did touch on it just barely a little bit.
I might.
Go ahead.
Because I saw a couple people write some stuff about it on Facebook earlier, but no, I can't remember.
It is 20 years since Mo Lewis delivered the hit to Drew Bledsoe.
Yeah, that's right.
That started the career. And
everything.
I would have just blown past it, but somebody had a great question, and they said that if that play never happens, if Mo Lewis never knocks out Drew Bledsoe, how different, how much has the NFL landscape would change at that moment? Would Tom Brady have ever gotten a chance? Would New England have ever become the dynasty? Did that get in the way of people like the Jets or Drew Brees or other teams that would have had more of a chance to win, how much of the NFL landscape changed that day?
I'd say a lot because you don't know what would have happened. You know, does Brady go to a different team and play? Does New England look for a different quarterback? And you know, or whatever. The possibilities are endless.
Yeah, I mean, Drew Bledsoe was a favorite of Robert Kraft. The guy loved him. I don't think Brady would have seen the light of day had Bledsoe staying healthy past that year. So, you know, think about how much that one hit by Mo Lewis, and think about it. Your own team caused your own 20-year disaster in front of them.
Listen, who the fuck knew?
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean? You didn't know. You didn't know what this was going to do. Nobody knew.
Nobody knew. Nobody.
You think Mo Lewis would have still hit him knowing that this is going to happen?
Yeah, I'm sure he would have refrained from the hit. I'm sure. But yeah, listen, I think it's certainly an interesting conversation to have to say, boy, how different would the NFL landscape have been in the last 20 years if Tom Brady never got off the bench that year? Does he ever get the chance in New England? Does he ever get a chance to do well? Does he ever? Obviously, does New England ever win 7 Super Bowls with just Bill Belichick and Drew Bledsoe? And the answer is probably no.
Yeah, it's amazing, man. It's amazing. You don't know how much of NFL history might have changed. Maybe Drew Brees never gets traded to San Diego, from San Diego to New Orleans. You don't know what ramifications there could have been. Who could have maybe not moved? Who could have moved? Maybe a different name would have emerged from someplace else. You don't know.
Absolutely, and it's funny. They just showed it on the screen on the football game, which Panthers are leading 7-0, 5 minutes and change left in the first half.
How bad of a hit was that hit? Do you know?
I'm trying to remember it, Jeff. I remember seeing. I've seen the video. I don't think I saw it live. And it was a good hit, but I don't think it was a violent hit where you go, holy shit, he killed him. You know,
he must have, because he didn't play again for quite some time.
Yeah, it tore up his shoulder, I believe, and all that stuff. So, listen, it was a good enough hit to knock the guy out of the game, that's for sure. And Brady marches onto the field and goes out and wins the Super Bowl that year. So, again, I'm not sure they would have won it without him.
Unbelievable, man.
Yep, 20 years ago today. So an NFL anniversary of sorts. But, guys, we're going to wrap this up tonight. I think we got through the NFL. We got through some baseball. We talked about Kiss and Iron Maiden. We had my dad on. We had lots going on, and I appreciate everybody being around. Again, we do this every Thursday night, 7 to 9:30, Jeff and myself. Sometimes we bring on some guests, but for the most part, it's us, and my dad checks in. Thanks to everybody on Facebook who popped up tonight. Jeff, we've had some good numbers lately. It's always much more fun when we get a little interaction with the crowds.
Where is Lenny?
I don't know. Len's been quiet on Facebook altogether. I know there was a passing of somebody he worked with, a cop from his past day. So I don't know if Lenny was dealing with that. But I've not heard much from Len. But we wish him well, and hopefully we'll hear from him soon. Other than that, so Jeff, before I end it, I'll give you the last word. You got anything you want to end it with?
Nah, man. It's just looking forward to week 3, and we'll be back here to kick off week 4.
That's it. So again, Sunday morning, tune into the Sunday Audible with Jeff and John and myself, and we'll break it down for you. So before you tune into the rest, turn into us for our unique brand of insight and analysis right on the Sunday Audible show. And then, of course, after it's all over with, tune in on Thursday night to hear Jeff and I break it down for you like we do here every week on the Hard Rocket Sports Show. So let's see. This weekend, no big deal. The weather should be decent. I hope you guys get out there and enjoy yourself while the weather's still good. We're getting to that crazy part of the year, Jeff, when we're going to start to walk out in the morning and get that nip in the air, which I am not looking forward to.
Can't wait. Can't wait.
Yeah, I'm sure you can. So, but okay, so fumble on the field, recovered by the Texans. They maintain possession of the ball. All right, so for Jeff Tomlinski, myself, and everybody here on Hard Rocket Sports, I say, guys, for tuning in tonight. Make sure you tune in next Thursday night when we do this all over again. Have a great week and a great weekend, And we'll see you back here in the Hard Rock and Sports Show every Thursday night. Jeff, thanks, brother. I'll talk to you after the air.
You got it, man.
Good night, everybody.
Later.